commitment to the unvarnished truth is sustained. Just one reason that this is Wisconsin's most listened to radio station. News Talk 1130, WISN. Fast and accurate, fair and balanced. Milwaukee's home for Fox News Radio. News Talk 1130, WISN.
What an incredible 4th of July weekend. What a perfect celebration of America's 250th birthday. But we are now back in the saddle and ready to ride for 3 hours of broadcast excellence, or at the very least. And you know what? Let's face it, and let's be honest with each other. It's probably going to be broadcast competence here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Conservative thought, not just talk. The celebrations of the 250th anniversary of the United States of America continue with all eyes on Team USA's soccer team as they take on Belgium in the round of 16. Significant controversy surrounding, though, a red card that was given out in the last match to the best player, at least the best scorer on the team. Christian Pulisic, very likely the best scorer, but Flo Balogun is a very, very good player. He got a red card in the last match, a win over Bosnia-Herzegovina, and President Trump personally called the president of FIFA, Gianni Infantino, to lobby that Balogun not be suspended, as is FIFA policy for the next match, tonight's matchup against Belgium. Ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm going to surprise a lot of you. I believe that what we're looking at here is something that I don't think that a head of state should do. Because I can now report to you exclusively here, ladies and gentlemen, that this was not the only time that President Trump called FIFA's president to intervene and attempt to rig the World Cup on behalf of the United States. I am reporting exclusively right now that President Trump earlier today called FIFA's president and intervened when Team USA's match against Belgium tonight was going to be moved ahead by several hours and played this afternoon and not tonight. The reason that was given was because it was considered to be not safe for all of the Team USA and Belgium fans to leave the stadium in Democrat-controlled Seattle because of all the homelessness, the drugs, and the craziness. And also, there were flooding concerns. There was a significant storm system moving through, but this would have put the U.S. at a big disadvantage. The very high altitude of the stadium in Seattle means that Belgium would have been far better prepared to play. The U.S. just wouldn't have had enough time to get properly acclimated to the altitude, and they'd be at a significant disadvantage, which Trump called fundamentally unfair. So he calls FIFA's president. This is awful. In response, FIFA overruled that decision, and the game is going to be played as scheduled at 7 o'clock tonight. What do you think, libs? Isn't that a horrific abuse of power? Isn't that blatant corruption by our president? Well, he didn't do it. Left-wing UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer did ahead of England's match against Mexico at the Azteca in Mexico City last night. And no single liberal, none of you, said a thing. Not one word about Keir Starmer doing everything I just said Trump did, and there wasn't a peep. Not one peep. England, by the way, won 3-2. And one of the big reasons, they did have a couple of extra hours to get acclimated to playing in the highest elevation of any major city in the world. No liberal said anything about a world leader calling the president of FIFA and directly intervening on behalf of his national team. This is why none of us who actually know soccer, who actually understand the game, and who actually understand you take any of your complaints about the Balogun red card seriously. If you would like to join the Dan O'Donnell Show, had you going, didn't I? I think I had you going, ladies and gentlemen. You know what? A lot of you have been listening to me for many years. You knew there was going to be a twist. 414-799-1130 on the Carpetland USA talk and text line. Carpetland USA Flooring Center talk and text line. 414-799-1130. We are taking your calls. We are taking your texts all show long. DOD@iHeartMedia.com is the email address. And if you want to follow the show, we are on social media at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, Facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show. We are on Instagram. We are on YouTube. We are available in podcast form. It's the Dan O'Donnell Show on iHeartRadio or wherever you listen to podcasts. For the first time in American history, a president of the United States rang the opening bell on the New York Stock Exchange this morning. President Trump in the Oval Office. First time it was ever done from the Oval Office. That was President Trump's idea. Instead of going all the way to New York, he rang the opening bell. And of course, as he took questions from reporters who were there, he was asked about the red card incident. He admitted, yeah, I totally called Infantino.
So I saw the play, and I'm a person that loves sports and was a good athlete. And I understand sports really well. And that wasn't a foul. That wasn't even an infraction. That was two guys running full speed that happened to crash into each other. You can't take your foot and properly place it on somebody else's foot when you're going. No, these were two great athletes that got tangled up. And this referee, who is a little bit suspect, if you check his past. I don't want to say that because I don't like to create controversy, but very suspect.
He is. I'm not sure, but I think our president knows ball. Here's what actually happened. What the mainstream media is not telling. Folks, those of you who have listened to me forever know how much I love soccer. I coach soccer. I played soccer. All of my kids play soccer. Nobody where I live knows me as the radio guy. They all know me as Coach Dan. I have been coaching soccer literally since I was 19, 20 years old with my significantly younger brother. I was an assistant coach on his team, took a little break when my oldest son was born. Like the second he could run, we were kicking a ball back and forth in the backyard. I love this game. I know everything, at least I hope to know everything I can about it. Although my 15-year-old son, as only a 15-year-old can, I will ask him about where some player on some random country plays. If he plays in the Premier League or if he plays in La Liga or something. Like, Dad, you don't know anything. He plays in the Italian League. I'm like, this is like a backup midfielder on Cape Verde. But apparently I know nothing about soccer or anything else, according to my 15-year-old, who simultaneously will say, Dad, you need to run for governor because the idiots on the one side, we shall not say which, are trying to ruin things. In any event, I'd like to think I know a little something about football. Balogun gets a red card, and it was a straight red. You can get 2 yellow cards, and that equals a red card. Or if there's especially egregious foul, you get a straight red card. You are sent off, and then per FIFA rules, you are suspended for the next game. And there is technically no direct appeal process, but everyone has been misinterpreting this, and everybody has been misinterpreting what actually was appealed. It was not the fact that Balogun got a red card. It was that initially there was no red card given, and they went to the replay known as VAR. They went to another official known as the video assistant referee. He reviewed it, and the head referee, the center ref, changed after review the call from either common foul, where the aggrieved team simply gets the ball, a yellow card where it's a warning for the player who committed the foul, or a red card, the player is sent off and suspended for the next match. After VAR, the center ref issued a red card. VAR protocol was not followed. FIFA rules were actually violated because the only thing that VAR, the video replay, is allowed to be used to review is if, say, a ball goes out of bounds, if a player was offside, something that is a matter of fact, not a matter of opinion. Whether or not a foul is a red card, a yellow card, a common foul, or no foul at all is, in fact, in the discretion of the referee. In other words, anything that is a referee's discretion call, i.e. the severity of a foul, cannot be reviewed through VAR. You cannot replay a potential foul 50 times at super slow-mo to change your opinion as a referee of what you saw. What was appealed was, in fact, the use of VAR to issue the red card. It is true, President Trump did call Gianni Infantino the president of FIFA. It is true, he said this was fundamentally unfair. It is true, he said, hey, there should probably be a review of this. None of that is unusual. None of that is considered corrupt. None of that is even considered out of the ordinary. In fact, Infantino has repeatedly said, because all of these nations, it is impossible, ladies and gentlemen, as Americans to understand just how seriously pretty much the rest of the world takes this tournament and takes this game. Heads of state call to review, call to complain, call to get potentially a competitive edge, call to lobby FIFA all the time. All the time. In fact, it happened 2 days ago when Keir Starmer called Infantino, and Infantino actually called I believe he called the president of Mexico to Claudia Sheinbaum. And they talked about, because there was a weather delay, there was severe weather in Mexico City, and there was a question about whether it was going to be able to be played. But it's such a huge advantage. Folks, I was in Mexico City in early December for that younger brother I used to coach in soccer, his wedding. Wonderful, wonderful wedding. They did it in Mexico City. I am telling you, it is so impossibly high up. You will get climate sickness. You will get altitude sickness, even if you're in tip-top shape. Both of my parents, who are in their 70s, they got altitude sickness. My niece, who is 13, got altitude sickness. I was feeling a little winded, and I'm in pretty good shape for a soon-to-be 45-year-old man. So if the British team, if the English didn't have those extra hours to acclimatize, it would have actually been a big advantage for Mexico. So they decided not to review or not to change the time after a bit of a review. So there is a process that was followed here. FIFA's disciplinary code, Chapter 4, Article 27. You may have seen Article 27 being referenced today. It does, in fact, allow a judicial body, the Disciplinary Committee for FIFA, to partially suspend the implementation of a suspension, a red card, anything, placing it on probation instead, which is what FIFA's independent 18-member disciplinary committee did. So was it Trump or Infantino who said, oh, you got to review this? No, the United States men's national soccer team lawyered up, and the lawyers sent a formal review request to FIFA under Chapter 4, Article 27. Every rule was followed. Every protocol was followed. And if liberals aren't upset about the UK Prime Minister doing the exact same thing, lobbying on behalf of his national team. There is no way they should be upset about Trump doing the same for our national team, unless, of course, the real reason was that liberals wanted and finally got an excuse to root against America. And in fact, all day on social media, all I have been seeing, prominent leftists on X, on TikTok, wherever you find libs who are saying, I am now rooting for Belgium over the United States. They were just waiting for a reason, ladies and gentlemen. And folks, they wanted this World Cup to fail. Don't believe me? There was a Politico article written about it 2 weeks ago where Democrats said, yeah, we really wanted this World Cup to fail, nobody to come, it to be a logistical nightmare, stadiums to be empty, so we could pin it on Trump ahead of the midterms. This red card controversy is a controversy that just perfectly encapsulates who the left is. A, they rely on misinformation and an audience that doesn't understand what is actually taking place. They don't give them the proper context. They don't tell them what's actually going on. I'm willing to wager that many of you listening to me today had no idea what Article 27 was, had no idea the video replay protocols for FIFA World Cup soccer match, or any FIFA World Cup match, any FIFA match, international friendlies, continental tournaments, all of the protocol was followed here. And guess what? Trump didn't issue a quid pro quo, didn't issue any threats, did what world leaders do all the time. And it wasn't Infantino, the president of FIFA, who had any power to do anything about it anyway. It's just that what you weren't told is that Team USA was filing a formal appeal. Belgium filed a formal appeal of the decision that the disciplinary committee reached yesterday, allowing Balogun to play, but they didn't file that appeal properly, and it was summarily rejected this morning. So Balogun is going to play. Team USA is going to kick off against Belgium in Seattle at 7 o'clock Central tonight. And most of us normies are going to be rooting for the United States. Liberals, though, are not. They're rooting for failure. They're rooting for this World Cup to be ruined, to be marred. And they found a perfect excuse to say it's ruined and it's marred, and there's going to be an asterisk against the U.S. if they win tonight, if they win the next match miraculously against either Spain or Portugal, who, by the way, are playing right now. The winner of that match is going to play Team USA in the next round. And oh, by the way, Cristiano Ronaldo. Even if you know nothing about soccer, you probably know who Cristiano Ronaldo is, right? Superstar for Portugal. Guess what? He was playing for Portugal against the Republic of Ireland's Dara O'Shea in a World Cup qualifying match back in December. FIFA, because the foul was so violent, initially imposed a ban of 3 matches. He served the mandatory automatic 1-game suspension because Portugal still had one more qualifier. They had already qualified. The match meant nothing. The remaining 2 matches he would have been suspended for. Guess when they would have taken place? In the first 2 group stage matches at the World Cup. But Portugal's soccer federation filed an appeal. They cited Article 27, and the suspension for Ronaldo, the world's second best player behind Argentina's Leo Messi, played the first 2 matches for Portugal, even though had Portugal not appealed, he would have been suspended for those 2 matches. The exact same thing. I guarantee you nobody knew about that. The only reason Cristiano Ronaldo is playing in this match against Spain is because Portugal, back in December, knowing that this was coming, did the exact same thing that Team USA did. No liberals said anything. No liberals probably knew about any of this, and that's by design, because they whip up outrage against Trump, against this country, attempting to say that Trump, and by extension, this country is somehow corrupt, that this country is fundamentally bad, and that they are rooting against this country because of the fundamental badness and fundamental corruption of Trump and of our entire way of life, where we're just throwing our colonies, our colonizers' weight around, bullying the poor people of Belgium, well, I don't know, trying to steal all their waffles. They rely on never telling you the full story. But that's what we do here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. You get the truth and nothing but. When I say Democrats have been rooting for this World Cup to fail, I mean it. Now prove it. Next. Stay tuned.
Classical conservatism.
Contemporary style.
This is the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Restoring your home or business to its natural beauty is our only business. We are Wisconsin's most trusted carpet cleaner for over 75 years.
Edelman Carpet Furniture and Drapery Cleaning.
It's Edelman again. Edelman.
Tracy, why are you wearing a snorkel in the living room?
Have you seen the dust floating in the sunbeam, Jason? It's like a tiny furry parade is marching through our lungs.
It's just dirty ducks. Capital can clean the air you breathe and improve your air conditioning system's efficiency.
And we're taking $200 off the price right now.
So you can take the snorkel off. You look ridiculous.
I look prepared. Call Capital and get your $200 off duct cleaning offer today.
Call CapitalCares.com.
Hey everyone, it's Vicki McKenna. When I decided to update my home, I called Wilco Exteriors, and I'm so glad I did. From the very first visit, they listened carefully, gave me a clear and honest estimate, and answered every question I had. No pressure, just real advice. The installation team arrived on time, kept everything neat, and worked fast and efficiently. In just one day, my new windows were in, and what a difference it made. The quality is outstanding. My energy bills are already going down, and the whole house looks fantastic. This July, Wilco is celebrating America's 250th with 25% off LP Smart Side Siding, windows, and full exterior projects. If you want the same great experience I had, visit WilcoEXT.com right now. That's WilcoEXT.com. You won't regret it. Wilco Exteriors, built with integrity. That's WilcoEXT.com. And don't forget to tell them Vicki McKenna sent you.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Born on America's darkest day, September 11th, 2001, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation, they have been helping American heroes ever since. Heroes like U.S. Army Sergeant William Bernard McKenna, exposed to burn pits. McKenna later died from T-cell lymphoma, leaving his wife, Dina, and 2 daughters. Tunnel to Towers honored Sergeant McKenna. They paid off the family's mortgage in honor of all of his sacrifice. Donate $11 a month. If you have a car to donate, if you have land to donate, go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org today.
Make News Talk 1130 WISN your number one preset on our free iHeartRadio app. Powered by Gruber Law.
One call, that's all.
Injured?
Remember, one call, that's all.
In case you're wondering just how fake Democrats' outrage is over the Flo Balogun red card and President Trump's supposed corrupt intervention with the president of FIFA is, this was a headline in Politico, June 25th of this year of our Lord 2026. And I quote, Democrats grapple uncomfortably with World Cup success. Subheader, a logistically smooth tournament poses a problem for Trump's critics. The triumph of the World Cup, reporter Adam Wren writes, The triumph of the World Cup's first 2 weeks, boosting the U.S.'s global reputation with sold-out stadiums and few logistical complications, has forced Democrats who had criticized President Donald Trump's role in preparations to grudgingly reconsider. I think that there was a little bit of like liberal wish casting, that this maybe would be a disaster to sort of stick it to Trump, said Rob Flaherty, the digital Democratic strategist and soccer fan who attended the U.S. group stage match with Australia. It hasn't yet been. Before the tournament, attitudes about the World Cup were polarizing like so much else along partisan lines, with Democrats confronting FIFA and the Trump administration over high ticket prices, shortfalls in public funding, and the government's posture to foreign visitors. As the tournament approached, local officials in areas hosting matches, including New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani and New Jersey Governor Mikey Sherrill, turned from critics to cheerleaders. Now a prominent congressional Democrat is going even farther, praising the U.S.'s handling of tournament logistics, if not giving the Trump administration explicit credit by name. This week, Representative Brandon Boyle, a Philadelphia Democrat active in foreign policy issues, called it a remarkable success and vowed to do everything I can to get the World Cup back here as soon as possible. Boyle's enthusiasm places him in rare territory, though other prominent Democrats, including California Governor Gavin Newsom and Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, along with Mamdani and Sherrill, have all attended games. Few among them have been willing to articulate anything that sounds like praise for the authorities putting on the event. They wanted the event to fail. They wanted America to fail at putting on the single biggest sporting event in the world. Yes, bigger than the Summer Olympics. It goes on longer, and there is, frankly, a whole lot more interest, even from nations that aren't in the World Cup. In the World Cup, this is the biggest sporting event on planet Earth. Its success would be America's success, and America's success would have been Trump's success. Because they hate Trump so much, and let's face it, a significant percentage of them hate America so much, and I'm not just pulling that out of my rear end, ladies and gentlemen. I will remind you that every single poll that was done leading up to America's 250th birthday on Saturday showed that while 90% of Republicans are and have always been extremely or very proud of their country, just 29 to 30% of Democrats still are. A similar number said they would fly the flag on the 4th of July. Similar number said the 4th of July was a day to reflect on how great America is and have pride in your country, have civic pride, go to the local parade. Yes, by the way, to answer all of the questions that I've been getting via email, that was me you saw walking around in a George Washington costume. And no, it wasn't as suffocatingly hot as you might have thought, because ironically, all of the patriotic gear that you can buy is manufactured in communist China, and it's pretty chintzy, but surprisingly breathable. Instead of loving their city, instead of loving this country, so many of them reflect on how bad it is because of the ultimate sin of colonization, which led to slavery, which led to oppression, which led to the wicked capitalist system that picks winners and losers and does not allow people who don't come from the privileged white race to get ahead in this country. Is that not a pretty decent summation of the neo-socialist race Marxist left's position? Why would you, on this nation's birthday, root for a nation like that, be proud of a nation like that, if that is ultimately your belief about this nation? Well, when this nation puts on what everyone has considered the single best World Cup that has ever been put on, and people from Japan and Europe and Central and South America and everywhere, by the hundreds of thousands, are coming to this country and saying, wow, we were really lied to about how awesome this place is. And even worse, how kind and nice and decent American citizens are. Our leftist governments are all saying they're all xenophobic. They will all hate you. Meanwhile, Americans have spent the last 3 weeks plus drinking and singing Scottish fight songs in Boston bars, picking up trash after each match with the Japanese fans. Great custom that Japan has. They actually will pick up the entire section that their fans sit in as a gesture of respect to the host stadium and the host country. They actually wave garbage bags and not terrible towels during the match, and then they take those bags and fill them up with garbage to help the cleaning crew. It has been the best celebration of what America is. As I said before the 4th, what I want people to understand about America now that we are a 250-year-old nation is that America is great because Americans are good. This was sort of the fundamental theme that President Trump delivered during an epic, incredible speech on the 4th of July, ahead of the single biggest fireworks display in world history. What did the left spend all 4th of July? Yes, the 4th of July. Not hanging out at cookouts or parades or parties or pools or whatever. I am hearing all day how the weather is proving that Trump's big America 250 is a failure, that, oh my goodness, the fireworks because of the weather delay that obviously man has no real control over. Because of that, Trump's big party was a bust, that Trump failed on America's 250th. Frankly, folks, I spent pretty much all May and half of June saying, you know what, I'm not feeling a whole lot of buzz about the 250th. I'm just not. Big reason, half of this country doesn't really care for this country anymore. Significant percentage of that political party was not born here and has no real allegiance to it. As soon as the World Cup started, and as soon as the world came to our shores, realized that their media, like ours, is a bunch of liars, and realize just how fundamentally good Americans are. Like, folks, they love Chick-fil-A. They love putting ranch dressing on everything like we do. They love Buc-ee's. If they would go to Wisconsin, if we had a World Cup match at Lambeau Field, they would love Quick Trip too. We got love for you, Quick Trip. They love all of the stuff. They love all of the economic might that we have, all of the variety of stuff that we can buy. They love our climate, but really what they love is our culture. Really what they love is the kindness and goodness and decency of the American people. That has filled me with so much pride in this country, I can barely even stand it. And to hear people say, yeah, we were rooting against the World Cup being a success because we're rooting against this president. Not that, obviously, did I want President Biden to fail in importing the entire third world into this country by opening up our borders? Yeah, you better believe I wanted him to fail on policy. When it comes to, getting all Americans out of Afghanistan safely back in 2021, I was rooting like hell that he would succeed. And of course, he did not. There's a difference between policy differences and a hatred for the president that sort of mirrors, I'm not going to say a hatred for a significant number of Democrats, but a resentment of this country itself that doesn't allow them to share in the successes. It doesn't allow to celebrate any aspect of this country, even when it succeeds beyond anyone's wildest dreams. And this World Cup success is beyond anyone's wildest dreams. But they were looking for something, not just to say, oh, well, the World Cup is tainted. Oh, look at this. Trump ruined it. He ruined everything. Now everybody thinks the U.S. has its thumb on the scales. But what they were really looking for was a reason to root for Belgium or root for Mexico. You see, Arizona Senator Mark Kelly had a Mexico jersey on last night, a Mexico jersey. I was watching the match last night. I went to a drone show and, of course, had to watch England-Mexico on my iPad. And I'm very, very close with a family, a guy who I've actually coached soccer with. Our daughters have played together forever. They're like best friends. He and his 16-year-old son, who I love dearly, they're saying they're rooting for Mexico. I said, get away from my iPad. No self-respecting American soccer fan roots for Mexico. They are our mortal enemies. Their fans throw bottles of urine like they're prisoners, gassing the guards at American fans, at fans of any nation, opposing players. They have a very popular chant at the opposing team's goalie, which basically calls him a homosexual male over and over and over again. They engage in, right? They're just considered about the worst fans in soccer. They're also our sworn enemies. At the last Copa America, maybe it was 2 Copas ago, or Gold Cup, it was CONCACAF Gold Cup. The final that was played at the Azteca was marred by just horrific treatment of Team USA by the Mexican soccer fans. No, you don't root for Mexico over the United States. If you're born in Mexico, hell yeah, root for Mexico. If I'm living in London, you'd better darn well believe I'm dressed as George Washington at the local pub, engaging in friendly banter with all of the Brits and hoping not to get beat up by a hooligan. But you got Americans here like Democrat Mark Kelly say, yeah, I'm rooting for Mexico. Yeah, I'm rooting for anybody but America. And now they have the excuse to say, go on social media and just search for it. Go to X and say, search for rooting for Belgium, just to see how many of these people actually are. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show. It is conservative thought, not just talk.
I'm Total Health's Jay Johnson, the Falls and New Berlin. Feel like you can't lose the weight, making you feel lethargic, slow, tired, and old? Hospitalized Medicine's motivated by profit solution is drugs. Everyone, including prescribers, know have very dangerous, life-altering side effects. After 34 years practicing natural medicine, Total Health can tell you it isn't your willpower. It's fat loss resistance, often slowly built up over decades, and you can overcome it naturally. Total Health's Rapid Reset will reset your body's access to fat. Years of stress, yo-yo dieting, surgery, even menopause inflame the hypothalamus and pituitary, your body's master hormone regulators. Rather than burning stored fat, your body utilizes essential reserves. Total Health's Rapid Reset, a science-based protocol, reduces hypothalamic inflammation, rebalances insulin and leptin, restoring your body's natural system of storing energy for future use, then actually burning fat for energy. A 20-pound reduction in trapped fat in the first month is a common result. It's not theory. Relativity equals expertise plus execution. TotalHealthInc.com.
I'm attorney Tom Grieve, here to tell you about Grieve Civil Law. Life is unpredictable, but you can help your loved ones navigate dark days by preparing for the future now. Powers of attorney, wills, and trusts are all components to a robust estate plan that ensures your wishes are fulfilled. Do you think your estate is simple or should be executed using common sense? In many cases, the law cannot take into account how complicated families are. If you or your heirs are divorced, or if your heirs get divorced in the future, your assets may not go where you intend. Many people say that they will get a will, but they never get around to it. Their loved ones often pay for their lack of planning in the time and stress of probate, not to mention court fees. On top of their grief, they'll wrestle with red tape and resentment. Don't gamble your life's work. Don't gamble with your family's future. Protect your loved ones from legal battles. It's more than just a document, it's peace of mind. Contact Grieve Civil Law today, because tomorrow isn't guaranteed. GrieveCivilLaw.com.
From large manufacturer to local pizza shop and every business in between, Summit Credit Union helps your vision take shape with loan programs, great rates, and strategic solutions. Whatever you're building, you've got this. And Summit Credit Union's got you.
Hey, it's Dan, and the path towards feeling better isn't always a straight line. When life twists and turns, Sagent Behavioral Health is there to support you through every curve and bump along the way. They offer trusted therapy, psychiatry, and substance abuse treatment throughout the Milwaukee area. Their compassionate team meets you where you are and walks alongside you to create meaningful, lasting change. With in-person and telehealth appointment options and a wide network of accepted insurance plans, their care is designed to support and move with you. It's one of the largest outpatient mental health providers in the Midwest and provides therapy, psychiatry, substance abuse disorder treatment, and other mental health services. And their team includes licensed therapists, psychiatrists, alcohol and drug counselors, and care professionals working together to support whole person health. Sagent Behavioral Health. New name, same care. Learn more and find a clinic near you at sagentbh.com.
I'm attorney Tom Grieve with Divergent Family Law, here to talk about facts and myths about divorce. Do you think as long as you play nice, so will your spouse? That's a myth. Many divorces start that way, but before you know it, one disagreement unravels everything you previously thought was settled. Have you heard it's cheaper to get divorced without an attorney? That's a myth. It's not. The assets lost by not knowing what you are legally entitled to are much more costly than an attorney. Have you heard attorneys bill by the minute and will waste time so that they can charge you more? At Divergent Family Law, that's a myth. We offer free consultations for divorce and provide you with a flat quote for representation. You won't have to wonder what you'll get charged. The facts are you'll get your best possible outcome when you have an experienced attorney at your side. Our attorneys have seen it all. They know the laws and they know the judges. They'll make sure that you get your fair share or better. Contact us today at divergentfamilylaw.com.
Strange noise? Warning lights? Don't guess. Trust Import Minded. Located on South 27th Street in Milwaukee, Import Minded has specialized in European and Asian vehicles for over 30 years. Their ASE certified technicians deliver honest diagnostics, quality repairs, and fair pricing with clear explanations. Locally owned and trusted by Milwaukee drivers, they get the job done right. Trust your spring tune-up to a shop that treats your car like their own always. On South 27th, just north of Highway 894. Visit goimportminded.com.
The World Cup is underway and it's been incredible. On our podcast, The Away End with Daniel Alarcon and John Green, we're talking about the games that have delighted us, the teams that have inspired us, and what surprised us, all through the lens of being massive fans of the world's most beautiful game.
Daniel, I can hardly believe the drama that the group stage brought us, but now it's time to talk about the teams that are left as the tournament reaches its crescendo and decides the next World Cup champion.
Open your free iHeartRadio app, search The Away End with Daniel Alarcon and John Green, and listen now.
iHeartRadio FIFA World Cup Update.
It's Team USA against Belgium tonight in the round of 16. U.S. coach Mauricio Pochettino says FIFA made the right call to make U.S. striker Flo Balogun available for the match in Seattle.
We were punished enough against Bosnia-Herzegovina to play with 10 men, 30 minutes in a decision that was completely unfair.
The other match on the schedule today, Portugal taking on Spain.
Download the iHeartRadio app for live Fox coverage of every game.
Go to newstalk1130.com for your summer of fun deal for the Heidel House in Green Lake. A 2-night room package plus a $200 food and beverage credit. That's an $800 value for just $400. Get your certificate now at newstalk1130.com.
I'm going to do the unhinged liberal of the day a little bit early today because this really ties into what we've been talking about pretty much all hour. Sure, I'm going to get, I assume, some of the stick to the issues crowd who can't wait to tell me how much they don't watch soccer or think soccer is boring. Boomers, I love you. Conservative boomers, you know what I think about you. I love you dearly. Boomer libs, you're the most cringe creatures on planet Earth. I hope you accept that. Boomer conservatives, I love you. But there is one thing that every boomer conservative has to tell me. And I say this as a elder millennial. So my parents' generation has to tell me one of three things. One, rap is crap, or rap music is not actually music. That is one thing. If I ever talk about rap, I will get at least one conservative boomer telling me rap is crap. Now, I will concede this point. The baby boom generation produced by far the best era of music that has ever been produced. Cinema, television, pop culture, boomers, you are killing it. Many of them were boomer libs. Whole lot of the people working in entertainment back then became Reagan conservatives. Didn't tell you. Nonetheless, boomers have to tell me rap is crap. Whenever I talk too much about sports, they have to tell me, stick to the issues. This is something that apparently has been a long-standing thing. Rush used to get, he called it the stick to the issues crowd. And number 3, they will have to tell me they don't watch soccer or that soccer is boring. I don't know what it is. It's a boomer cultural thing. Like, I bet you if you asked my son, who's 18 years old in Generation Z, is there a thing that millennials have to do, so their parents' generation or Gen X has to do? They could come up with 50,000. And they think, by the way, lest you think that this is just, everybody hates on boomers, to a Gen Zer, there is nothing more cringe than a millennial. They think millennials are the absolute most cringe. My producer, Armin, who is like the ultimate millennial, he is like Mr. 1990s. Do you realize on the 4th of July, I literally texted Armin because I was at a parade party and a bunch of the kids, I was shocked by this. They, where they're singing songs afterwards and like dancing around, all that. They knew every word to Vanessa Carlton's early 2000s hit, 1,000 Miles, which is like Armin's personal anthem. And I sent him the video of like my nieces and my daughter dancing around. They all know. I said, you know what? It turns out the kids are all right. Armin texts back, put Vanessa Carlton on Mount Rushmore. So he is like the ultimate millennial. Rest assured, they think we're just as cringe. But lest you think that I was just talking about soccer, this is exactly the Balogun red card Trump controversy is exactly how the left and its propaganda media works. All right, I did say several minutes ago we're going to get to the unhinged liberal of the day, and it does indeed fit in. Let's hit it.
Trump is Hitler.
We are in pre-Nazi Germany.
All white people are racist.
Trump is dangerous because he's evil. America is over.
Today's unhinged liberal of the day is none other than Sunny Hostin. She has had a long history of, saying some of the dumbest stuff imaginable. And every year you get some lib talk about how they are triggered or how they are terrified by the sight of an American flag on the 4th of July. And this year it was Sunny Hostin's turn on today's edition of The View. She said she feels unsafe in neighborhoods where there are a lot of American flags.
There are times when I walk into a community and I see American flags all over the community, and I suddenly feel unsafe.
Sunny Hostin, your unhinged liberal of the day. Why does she feel unsafe? Because she, as a woman of, you can predict what she is going to say. This is how tiresome the left has gotten. You can predict everything that is going to come out of her mouth next because of America's long history of racism, of sexism, of xenophobia, of bigotry, that this is not really a country that we're proud of. Mamdani spent 4th of July weekends over on Mamdani, communist, Ugandan-born mayor of New York City, talking about he sat down at George Washington's desk. Washington's desk, by the way, was turned around. This was so perfect for a communist. He was sitting at the desk, but the desk was facing the wrong way. It's like he's never actually worked in his life before. And he's flanked by a whole ton of recent immigrants to the United States. And he is talking about basically how this nation perpetually needs to apologize for its sins. Well, he spent his weekend apologizing for that display, saying, yeah, I do totally love America. No, he doesn't. If he did, why would he want to take down the engine of American exceptionalism, its capitalist system? No, he does not want to make America more like Norway. And if you want, I can dispel the myth that somehow Norway and Sweden and Switzerland, the Nordic socialist states, are socialist at all. Norway is a petrostate with a population of less than Wisconsin's. Its population is like 5.6 million. Wisconsin's is 5.8. $8 million. And it's got a very generous sovereign wealth fund of like $2 trillion that it spreads across all of its people because it gets the money from the evil capitalist oil companies that are drilling in Norway, in its fjords and across the coasts of Norway. That's not socialism. That's also not what people like Zoran Mamdani want. All right, we're going to step aside for a break. When we come back, the Daily Trump Date, we will get you all of the controversy about Balogun, yes, but there was also some other stuff that President Trump talked about and did, including ringing the bell on the New York Stock Exchange from the Oval Office. Trump accounts also launched today. All of that coming up next.
From the Lynch Buick GMC of West Bend Total Traffic Center.
In Waukesha, Highway 164 remains shut down at a County Highway I with crash cleanup. Southbound 43 jammed in pockets from Capitol down to the Marquette and on to 4394 with delays down to the KK River Bridge. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest Total Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Terminix Batzner. Mosquitoes aren't just a nuisance. They can transmit dangerous diseases, too. That's why Batzner Pest Control is proud to offer mosquito extermination services to keep your family and property safe year-round. For your free no-obligation quote, give them a call or visit Batzner.com today.
Imagine bidding on a house when you already know the price the other buyers have offered. No guessing. Just another $1,000 if it's worth it to you. Heck, maybe go $5,000 and get the deal done. Buyers crave two things: price transparency and opportunity. Legacy brokerages don't offer either one. This is Bob Tarantino from Redefined Realty and Auction. Every brokerage has MLS, yet nobody does anything different. The MLS markets your property. It's spectacular, and all the brokerages and all the agents use the exact same MLS system. After that, for all practical purposes, they do nothing of significance different. Redefined Realty and Auction gives buyers two things they crave: price transparency and opportunity. This is what sets us apart from legacy brokerages and old school agents. Nobody does auctions better than Redefined Realty and Auction. Buyers will love that you gave them the opportunity to bid higher. They love that you didn't force them to guess at a price. In an auction, prices are totally transparent. When all the buyers can see all the prices, they bid more and push the sales price to the max. Sell with Redefined Realty and Auction and achieve the best price guaranteed. When buyers bid, sellers win. RedefinedRealty.com.
Dan Voss at Cut and Go. We're celebrating America's 250th birthday with History Trees. In World War I, artists drew, measured, then created exact replicas of severely damaged trees on active battlefields, then recreated them out of iron. Under cover of total darkness, Americans cut the original tree down and installed the replica with no one the wiser. The iron camouflage trees hid American patriots in plain sight.
Sonny Voss here. That's the American Ingenuity tree my dad imported, inventing the remote control, truck-mounted, articulated grapple saw, cut and goes operators use to safely put your dead trees on the ground or remove branches that grew over something important.
Cut and Go will trim large branches or remove your dead trees. Grind and Go removes eyesore trip hazard stumps. And Plant and Go implements maximum beauty and benefit new, potentially historic tree planting plans.
Happy 250th anniversary of Tons of Trees movement. CUTNGOtrees.com.
So the body knows that it needs to heal itself, but it doesn't know how to concentrate it and target it into just one area. So that's where we come in.
By we, Dr. Ashley Caravelli means the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, QC Kinetics.
We put in those treatments, then it sends out like little signalers to your body. We're able to make the body focus on the areas that need the most healing.
QC Kinetics has gathered brilliant medical minds like Dr. Caravelli and Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, a pioneer in the field of regenerative medicine, to lead the way in these innovative pain treatments.
So at QC Kinetics, we have a whole team working nationwide with cutting edge research to reach our patients and treat them and know that surgery is no longer their only option.
The consultation is free. Find out if you're a candidate. Call QC Kinetics today.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-888-4387. That's 414-888-4387. 414-888-4387.
Does your old roof have you stressed? Shingles look like they're about to blow off, gutters leaking, uncertainty about what's going on in your attic? We don't want you to stress. We want you to love your home again. Hi, Colleen from Tri-County Contracting. For 47 years, Tri-County Contracting has been replacing worry and stress with peace of mind. We have been than replacing old, leaking roofs that bring headaches with brand new roof systems that last a lifetime. With every Tri-County Contracting roofing project, you get enrolled in our exclusive every year inspection program. Annually, we inspect and do routine maintenance to your roof for free for 10 years, plus a lifetime workmanship and product warranty. Call us or visit our website for a free estimate or an instant roof quote at TriCountyContractingWI.com. We will help you find the right shingle and color for your home. We can create pictures of your home with all kinds of roofing choices using our home rendering tool. Roofing has never been so easy. Visit our new Berlin showroom to see all the colors on display. Roofing that will make you love your home again. Tri-County Contracting.
From Wisconsin to the world and everywhere in between, the Mark Belling Podcast, My Take on Everything, Season 2 is underway. New episodes drop Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday on iHeart or wherever you get your podcasts.
Show summaries, podcasts, political tidbits, and the hottest photo galleries in radio. All available to you whenever you demand them at newstalk1130.com.
All programs on News Talk 1130 WISN are broadcast through the Annex Wealth Management Studios. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference. Stay informed all day, every day on News Talk 1130 WISN. Milwaukee, an iHeart radio station. Guaranteed human.
Good afternoon. I'm Dave Michaels. ICE agents detained at least 5 people at various laundromats around Dane County.
Owners of the Little Big Load laundromats say 5 people were detained at 2 South Madison locations and claim a young man was injured during a detention. The arrests are part of a wider federal immigration operation that an immigrant rights group says resulted in at least 10 detentions in the Madison area. The Department of Homeland Security says ICE made 39 arrests statewide. Madison police say local officers were not involved in the operation. Sean Maloney, Wisconsin Radio Network.
And after years of bidding wars and soaring prices, home buyers may finally be seeing the market tilt a little more in their favor.
New data from Realtor.com shows the national median list price fell 2.5% in June compared to a year ago. The steepest annual asking price decline since 2017 and the 8th straight month of price drops. Economists say more sellers are pricing homes realistically from the start instead of listing high and cutting later. Combined with slightly lower mortgage rates, the monthly payment on a typical home is about $132 less than it was a year ago. Pending home sales also climbed nearly 4%, a sign buyers are beginning to return to the market. CJ Papa, Fox News.
Checking the Holiday Automotive Fond du Lac Sports Scoreboard, the U.S. men's soccer team will try to make its first quarterfinals appearance at the World Cup since 2002. They'll play Belgium tonight in the round of 16 at 7 o'clock. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Dave Michaels on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
From the Odoo.com Weather Center, Odoo.com, the only business software you need.
High pressure gives us mostly sunny skies throughout the day today. Very comfortable high near 82 inland. A northeast breeze will keep it around 78 lakeside. Overnight tonight, clear skies, upper 50s inland, low 60s for the city and lakeside, and back to sunny and 80s tomorrow. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Rob Haswell.
This report is sponsored by The Yard.
Buy the Yard's July BOGO Bash. Buy one Adirondack chair and get the second 30% off. Perfect for lake days or backyard sunsets. Hurry in and visit a showroom today. This limited time offer won't last long. And remember, with Buy the Yard, life is better outdoors.
Lake Country's Endurance Exteriors charges less for lifetime material, warranted GAF shingles that will last longer than you. Meticulous installation, lifetime warranty GAF roofs, windows, siding, because we do exterior remodeling for your home the way you would if you could. EnduranceExteriors.com.
Hi, it's Jay Weber. Let's talk about the roof on your home. A lot of you will need to replace your roof this summer, but be forewarned, there are roofing companies out there that skip over the most important part of the process, the attic ventilation. You see, if your attic doesn't have proper air circulation, it can cause problems such as mold and wood rot, leaks in the winter, not to mention higher AC bills in the summer. This is one of the reasons I recommend Semperfi Roofing to my listeners. Their process begins with a free 21-point roof inspection that includes a thorough inspection of your attic attic. They know that if the ventilation isn't right, the roof will be built on a shaky foundation. Every Semperfi roof comes with a well-thought-out attic ventilation plan, and that's why they can offer a 50-year leak-free guarantee on every roof they install. And right now, money-saving discounts and financing incentives are available. Call for your free 21-point roof inspection and estimate today, 262-600-2910, or book an appointment at SemperFiRoofing.com.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semperfi.
I'm David Ortiz. When I lost my mom, she was only 46. And I lost my dad to cancer. It was the worst pain I ever felt. It made me think, what will happen with the people I love when my time is up? That's why I have life insurance. Ethos makes it easy. It's all online, take about 10 minutes, and you can get up to $3 million in coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid testimonial. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Born on America's darkest day, September 11th, 01, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation, they have helped American heroes ever since. Heroes like United States Navy Chief Shannon Kent. Kent was killed in a suicide bombing, leaving behind her husband, Joseph, their 2 kids. Tunnel to Towers honored her sacrifice and paid off the family mortgage, giving them security forever. Donate $11 a month. Maybe you have a car to donate, land to donate. Please go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
Mental health care is a journey, and no one should have to navigate it alone. At Sagent Behavioral Health, we're here for every twist and turn to support your path towards growth. Formerly Nystrom and Associates, Sagent offers trusted therapy, psychiatry, and other mental health services for children, adolescents, and adults in the Milwaukee area. With in-person and telehealth options, our support moves with you wherever life leads. Sagent Behavioral Health. New name, same care. Learn more at sagentbh.com.
Get started with your no-hassle refi checkup by clicking on the blue button at Accunet.com.
4 o'clock hour starts right now here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Major political news just breaking within about the last hour and a half or so. Maine Senate candidate Graham Plattner, who up until this point has been the poster child for the socialist movement sweeping through the party, faced very credible allegations by a 40-year-old woman who went on the record to accuse him of sexual assault in Politico. In response, Plattner has said that he is going to reassess his campaign and how best to move forward. He has also canceled all of his campaign events for the rest of the week, and the deadline to drop out and have his name be removed from the ballot so the Democratic Party of Maine can find someone else to run against Susan Collins is next Monday. No coincidences here. My very strong suspicion is that he's done within the next 3 or 4 days. That would make Francesca Hong, the socialist candidate for governor of Wisconsin, easily the highest profile socialist in America, currently running for elective office. Why? Because she would be, if she wins, the very first Democrat Socialist of America governor, and she would also be the very first self-described socialist to ever be a governor of the United States. We will discuss all of this coming up later this hour here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. But first, it's time to get you caught up on all of the day's events involving President Trump and the federal government. All of it, it's the Daily Trump Day.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning.
Trump just keeps winning.
It is a win for the administration.
It's also a big win for the United States.
We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
President Trump made history today by being the first president to ever ring the opening bell of the New York Stock Exchange from the Oval Office.
So ring the bell, Mr. President.
was ringing the bell because today was the first day the market was open and people can invest in Trump accounts. If you have a child under the age of 18, if you have any child, you are able to sign up for a Trump account. For any child born during Trump's presidency, the federal government and donors, especially Michael Dell, will seed that account with $1,000 that will be invested. Basically, this is the single best way to teach millions of American families who might not otherwise have exposure to the American stock market, the single biggest provider of generational wealth, creator of generational wealth that the world has ever known, the American economy that everyone can share in. It's called the stock market. And unfortunately, there aren't a whole lot of people, especially amongst lower and middle income earners, who might not contribute to their 401ks or have 401ks, who have any exposure in that. And President Trump today said at a Rose Garden ceremony after that Oval Office ceremony that he's aiming to change that.
But already more than 6 million Americans have signed up for Trump accounts, and we've just started, many of which are receiving a one-time seed contribution of $1,000. So these are children, in many cases, extremely poor children. And they're starting off with $1,000, and then it goes up. And it comes out of the United States Treasury with contributions from parents, employees, churches, or generous Americans like these that we're gathered with. We have so many people here that have contributed a lot of money. And I just thought it would be so appropriate to have our first meeting at the Oval Office.
So that's where the meeting took place. The president, of course, did take questions from reporters. What dominated? Was it Iran? Was it domestic policy? Was it the upcoming midterms? Nope. Of course, it was the Balogun red card and whether President Trump was wrong to call up the president of FIFA, who had absolutely no bearing on getting that red card not rescinded, but essentially turned into a probation. Here's President Trump saying today, yeah, he didn't really think that red card on Balogun was all that fair.
He didn't do anything wrong, and he's our best player or one of our best players. A very vital player. And he gave him a red card. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't think it meant much. Then I started hearing that means he can't play in the next game, at least in the next game. I said, boy, that's a big, if it happened to another player, it would have been unfair. But when they take your best player, or just about, they have some great players, and they say you can't play, that's very unfair. That's, it's one thing to penalize somebody for the game, but how do you penalize them for a game that hasn't been played yet? It's very unfair. You can't do that. So, yes, I asked for a review.
But the guy he asked has no power to institute a review. As we explained last hour, it is in fact a disciplinary board, an 18-member independent board that meets if there is an appeal filed under what's known as Rule 27, which the U.S. men's national soccer team's attorneys, not the White House, not Trump, going through the proper protocols, it was Team USA itself. If there is an appeal, you can overturn or at least get the red card turned into probation, which Balogun's is. He is allowed to play tonight. And by the way, it's totally common for heads of state to call Gianni Infantino, the president of FIFA, all the time. Before him, Sepp Blatter. Yes, the man's name is actually Sepp Blatter, the notoriously corrupt former head of FIFA. He would get calls all the time. Infantino said he gets calls all the time, including one from Keir Starmer, UK's prime minister, who actually did the exact same thing Trump did. In any event, this is the big controversy right now. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your daily Trump date here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. 414-799-1130 on our Carpetland USA Flooring Center talk and text line. Email dod@iheartmedia.com, at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, Facebook, YouTube. Watch the show streaming live via the DanoCam. Follow us, subscribe to us, listen to us in podcast podcast form. The Dan O'Donnell Show on iHeartRadio or wherever you listen to podcasts. We now bring in Dave Spano, the CEO of Annex Wealth Management, helping you know the difference between financial advisors and know the difference between incredibly technical rules for video-assisted refereeing in soccer. I know you want to weigh in on this, Dave, because I know you're a big fan of the football. Trump did nothing wrong. I mean, like this, for those who know soccer.
Trump should have gave the player, instead of giving him a red card, he should give him a red hat. Right?
I like that.
Or more importantly, the player who got it from the referee said, "Here's your red card," and the guy should have said, "Yeah, well, I got a Trump card."
Oh, I like. You came prepared for this segment, my friend. The best meme I saw was the referee showing Balogun the red card and Balogun showing him the Uno reverse card, which very well done. Very well done, internet. The big thing today, Dave, at the White House was indeed the first trading day of the Trump accounts. You and I have talked about this when they were first announced. This is fantastic because I'm sure you'll agree. The ability to generate and create and provide for your family with wealth that is simply unattainable if you are not having your money work for you and understanding the power of compounding interest. Just as debt compounds, so too does interest. So too does the value of assets. The fact that the Trump administration is doing this for so many lower and middle income families is incredible. Just so we're clear, anybody can sign up for a Trump account. It is children born during the second Trump term in certain low-income zip codes that will be eligible for the $1,000 basically deposit into that account.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And so it is for the poorest of the population, no doubt about that. And $1,000 going in. And remember that Michael Dell of Dell Corp is matching that. And he mentioned that today in the press conference. And of course, the Dell stocks reacted to it. But there's no doubt that is really good thing. And not only that, it's as a planning tool. It's one of those tools. Even if you don't go to college, there are other tools. There's 529 plans. There is gifting, but this is something that can really help somebody get a great start and see and participate in the equities market. So I think it's really a good thing, and I'm glad it's got kicked off today.
And it couldn't have been coming at a more perfect time. I mean, we just saw a 15% rise in markets in the second quarter of 2026. That's rather remarkable for a midterm election year, isn't it?
It really is. And you look over at the screen right now, 53,005, over 53,000 on the Dow Jones. We usually talk about the S&P 500, but just think about where the Dow Jones has gone. I'll remember, and so will you, back in March of 2009, I think it was in the low 7,000s. I'm pretty sure that the Dow was at 7,000. Here we are at 53,000. And so to think that the Dow can go to 100,000 in a shorter period of time is not an unfathomable thought. And so there's no doubt that can happen. You talk about what is happening in the second quarter. The S&P 500 rose 15% performance portfolio return in the second quarter. That's the best performance of a second quarter in a midterm election since 1938. So
That's
historically,
incredible.
the second quarter, it really is. Historically, the second quarter has not been a good return. In fact, it's the worst performing quarter of the entire 4-year presidential cycle, averaging a decline of 4%. And you had all of these geopolitical risks. That it couldn't have been farther from what happened here, up 15% for the second quarter. And the third quarter, Dan, is setting up to be just as good. The earnings estimates for third quarter are almost as good as the second quarter. So a lot of really good news. We can talk about what's happening with the GDP forecast in oil and inflation coming down, but the story is really setting up nicely.
I mean, this is the thing that I don't think people quite appreciated, that when Trump was saying it, and pretty much everybody, Rubio was sort of seen as the cooler head with respect to Iran, when they were saying, look, this is a temporary bump in the road. This is not any long-term, and the market continued to, and it wasn't just what Rubio or Trump or anybody else was saying, the market continued to run up because the fundamentals are so strong. I mean, you look at earnings season after earnings season after earnings season, you're getting blowout after blowout after blowout. Inflation is still well within a reasonable range. The only reason that the inflation was as high as CPI was as high as it was, remember, core inflation was not nearly as high because you strip out the much more volatile energy prices. It was because of that temporary bump when the Strait of Hormuz was shut down by crazy people. But now we're expecting another blowout number for GDP. People are seeing their net worth rise precipitously. And you're seeing oil prices go down to a lower rate than they were before this war started, all while inflation is not going up in any meaningful way. I mean, prices, look, I'm not going to deny, prices are beyond high. And we're going to explain. Federal Reserve actually has a report out about why prices are so high. I'm going to get to that in just a second. It's not going to surprise you. Let's just put it that way. But the American economy is going gangbusters right now. But you still, Dave, do have this sort of belief, especially amongst young people, Generation Z and so forth. There's this angst. I can't afford anything, all of this. I firmly believe it is because we don't have a solid foundation of financial education. And what Trump has said all along with these Trump accounts is we want to get more people educated about finance, about saving, about getting their money to work for them. You can buy incredible investments and Wolf of Wall Street, right? When he calls that guy about the penny stocks. But I'm saying people, I think you need to be wealthy in order to invest. Years ago, you could have bought Palantir for like $7 a share, right? Investment is for everybody. And my point is that's what Trump is. Building wealth is a process. And when you are building wealth, things feel a lot better.
Yeah, and you think about the generations. I mean, you have to remember that a lot of the younger generation, younger than Dan O'Donnell, but you had 2000.
So like 80% of the population.
99, 2000. So you had that. And there was that was a bloodbath, bad situation. Yeah. And it was bookmarked again by the 2008, 2009 financial collapse. Even and so worse, that is what a lot of people saw, even worse. But as you say, here we are closing oil today at $68.60. That is far below what it was when that conflict began. And you talked about inflation for a second. Inflation is negative 0.1 to negative 0.2 estimate for the quarter. So it's not only not going up, it is actually went down for the quarter. A lot of that reason is because oil has come down, and the Federal Reserve then will have room to lower interest rates. So an earnings season is good. Now, it's not going to be a bumpy ride, as Rocky Balboa said. It's not all rainbows and sunshine, right? Because we still have a lot of geopolitical risk in front of us. You still have Russia and Ukraine going at it, firing away at each other. You've got Iran still not in the clear. And of course, Cuba is in front of us as well. So it won't be a straight line up, but it's certainly an opportunity to say, have a bigger picture, make sure you're aligned correctly with what's going on the second half of the year, and get your portfolio in place.
And I always say, get the review of that portfolio. Get started on your journey towards investment and find out what it is you own. If you own stocks, you haven't checked your portfolio in a while, why is it that you own that? How much did you pay for? What's your cost basis? Are you beating the market with your positions? Are you comfortable in the growth? Do you want to, have a higher dividend? All of these questions you can get answered for free by someone who's not looking to sell you some investment product, a mutual fund or whatever, but is really looking out for you. They get a fee. They're not paid by anybody but you. That means they are a fiduciary. Annex Wealth Management, annexwealth.com. That is where you go. All right. So what is the reason that home prices have risen by 30%, rents have gone up by 20%? The Federal Reserve has a new report out, and it's exactly what I have been telling you for quite some time. You're listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show. On the other side of this commercial break, we will get into that. Don't go anywhere.
The Lynch GM Superstore in Burlington Total Traffic Center.
Southbound on 43 jammed from Capitol down to the Marquette, and then westbound on 94 between 27th and Hawley. Eastbound delay starting just before Hawley, clearing up at 35th Street. I'm Kevin Henry, and that's your latest Total Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Habish and Rotier.
One law firm has recovered more million-dollar results than any other firm in Wisconsin. We have handled and won the largest cases in state history. Habish and Rotier. National reputation, hometown service. Visit Habish.com for more information.
Dave Spano, CEO of Annex Wealth Management, a fee-only fiduciary.
Fee-only fiduciary really further separates the folks that either say fiduciary some of the time or best interest altogether. And it's not just that alone. It is, of course, everything else that we can bring to the table that this just isn't asset management. It is estate planning, tax planning, financial planning, all of it wrapped together in one transparent fee.
Know the difference with Annex Wealth Management. Click the Get Started button at AnnexWealth.com.
I'm Victor Harding for Warshevsky. Need to know what personal injury firm will get you maximum compensation? Ask around. Warshevsky is regularly referred to friends and family members of former clients, other lawyers, judges, law enforcement officers, insurance adjusters, often our adversaries. Refer Warshevsky because people with experience know we will achieve the maximum judgment or settlement possible. If someone you love is injured, please let them know because at the end of their ordeal, their injury is about the money. Warshevsky.com.
Okay, Jason, I've calculated the cost of my air conditioner breaking on the weekend, and I think that if I sell my vintage comic books and post pictures of my feet online, I still won't have enough money.
Or you could just call Capital.
But it's the weekend. Everybody charges a premium for just showing up.
Not Capital. We do same-day repairs 7 days a week. Plus, the service call is free when we do the work, even plumbing repairs.
So I can keep my comics?
Keep the comics. Call Capital.
Call CapitalCares.com.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules.
We're the Libby family
at Do-It-Yourself Bathroom Center near State Fair on 62nd and Greenfield.
We're not a home center.
Everyone here is an expert who really knows their stuff.
Plus, nobody beats our prices. Remember our slogan,
I did it myself at Do-It-Yourself.
Make News Talk 1130 WISN your number one preset on our free iHeartRadio app, powered by Gruber Law.
One call, that's all.
Injured?
Remember, one call, that's all.
Opinion, emotion, passion. This is News Talk 1130 WISN.
Welcome back to the Dan O'Donnell Show. Coming up in the 5 o'clock hour, it was an incredibly chaotic night across Milwaukee on the 4th of July. Not one, but two Milwaukee police officers, both women, injured during what are being called teen takeovers, but they sound way too innocent. These are mob takeovers. This is mob activity that we are now seeing regularly in Milwaukee and across the country. There was a huge mob takeover in, was it Venice Beach? No, not Venice Beach, Newport Beach in Orange County, California on the 4th of July. Well, we had mob takeovers on Brady Street, on Water Street, at Summerfest. There were massive brawls, and we will get into why the city of Milwaukee is unable or unwilling to do anything about this. And also, how did they celebrate the 4th of July in Watertown? Why, with a hearse display in the parade for LGBTQ rights in Trump's America. Thank you very much, Social Justice Watertown, the trans activists well, make everybody uncomfortable in Watertown. We will get to that much, much more coming up in the 5 o'clock hour here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. No, in case you're wondering, no more $250K USA giveaway. That ended on July 3rd, but have no fear. Sizzling Summer Cash Contest makes its return a week from today on Monday. Every single hour here on the Dan O'Donnell Show, you will have a chance to win $1,000, and we're playing that one straight through till about mid-August. So be listening starting next week. Next hour, going to dive into all sorts of dysfunction in the city of Milwaukee that sort of came to a head on the 4th of July, and liberals trying to downplay this. And Democrats who have controlled this city since 1908 refusing to accept responsibility. All right. Today, though, we start with a report from the Dallas Fed working paper on illegal immigration and housing. The main finding was that when Biden opened up the border from 2021 to 2024, it acted as a significant housing demand shock. What that means is when there is a shock, there is something unexpected and sudden that happens that either affects supply or demand. A supply shock would have been oil. Oil earlier this year, when the Strait of Hormuz was closed down, when oil couldn't be transported through the key port, the key strait, that was a supply shock. Demand stayed the same, but supply suddenly went down. Housing had a demand shock for 4 straight years. When you have millions and millions and millions of people suddenly coming into this country, they need to live somewhere. Necessarily, demand for housing is going to go up, but supply is going to stay relatively constant. You can't just magically create houses in a day or two. You can have new housing starts, sure, but it takes about a year to build a house. You're not going to be able to keep up with the sudden demand. That creates a demand shock and necessarily will increase prices. What this argues is that across the average metro area, a 30% spike in the total cost of home price increases, meaning 30% of the growth of home prices over the Biden era, is due entirely to illegal immigration. What has long been known is that a 1% increase in illegal immigration in a particular city or in a particular metro area, like say the Milwaukee metro area, Madison metro area, if you get a 1% increase, if you get 1% more illegals in your city or in your metro area, that probably increases home prices by about 2.2% almost instantly. It increases rents by about 1.5% instantly, because again, there's a demand shock. Supply doesn't go up, demand goes up, and demand goes up very suddenly. 30% of what we have seen just out of control home prices has been due entirely to the demand shock caused by Joe Biden and the Democrats. 20% of the increases in the price of rent over that same time period, where rent went up by 22%, is due to illegal immigration. Not only does this have a disastrous impact, illegal immigration, on housing, the labor market is also significantly impacted. Not only do people typically need resources, i.e. shelter, food, all of that, which causes the price of everything. You can do this same exercise across the price of groceries, across the price of taxation, what I call the cost of government, taxes, fees, what it costs you to live in a particular society, because there's a sudden demand shock for government services, and because a whole lot of liberal governments at the municipal and state level give insanely generous benefits to illegal aliens because they want them in their sanctuary cities. That also means somebody's got to pay. One of the biggest places that you see this is in the cost of medical care. Because there is federal law that basically says hospitals cannot, for emergency care, discriminate on the basis of nationality or race or sex or anything like that. Nor can they discriminate. They have to provide treatment regardless of somebody's ability to pay. They can't just turn you away if you have no insurance, you have no money, you are not able to pay for your brain surgery. They have to treat you if you need emergency brain surgery. This has caused a ton of illegal aliens to use hospitals and emergency rooms as primary care. You get the sniffles as an illegal immigrant, you go to the emergency room. Not only is this clogging emergency rooms and has clogged emergency rooms for decades, the cost is going up because it still costs the hospital something. It still costs the system something to provide that service to the person who's not going to pay for it. So either that cost is passed on to you. Government bears the brunt of that cost and passes it on to you, the taxpayer, in the form of higher taxes to make up with the sudden budget shock of having to take care of so many new people who are in this country instantly and are maybe not getting jobs right away. And if they are not paying taxes to the government because, again, they're illegal. What you see when illegal immigration is such a significant burden, you see prices go up disastrously. The worst thing that Biden and the leftists did, and let's not pretend that this was Joe Biden. Biden had no idea what was being done on his behalf by the 30 and 40-something cabal of they-them radicals who are secretly wielding the power of the presidency from behind the Resolute desk while Biden took a nap. They were the ones who said, we want as many illegals in this country as we can possibly get. They're the ones who spiked home prices. Now what we're seeing, because of the price of rent, because of the price of housing, many Generation Zers don't believe that they'll ever be able to achieve the American dream. That has caused them to blame Trump and the Republicans, and Trump's popularity has cratered among Generation Z. This creates a nightmare scenario where this generation doesn't realize that it was the socialist open border policies that led to the fact that they can't afford anything, blame the wrong people, and the socialists use that populist anger to get themselves into power. We will discuss that, and also one of the most prominent socialists likely being forced from his race. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Lynch Chevrolet of Kenosha Total Traffic Center.
Still got a full closure for crash cleanup in Waukesha, Highway 164 at County Highway I, southbound 43, stopping and going from Good Hope down to Bender, and again from Capitol to the Marquette on to 4394, most of the way to the Plainfield Curve. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Joda Solutions.
Joda Solutions builds custom software for businesses. Check out one of our latest projects, a fully automated AI weather service. Go to www.weathercenter.ai and see for yourself the quality of the software we create at Joda Solutions. JodaSolutions.com.
Retirement planning doesn't have to be complicated or overwhelming. Tune in to the Retirement Clinic every Saturday morning at 10 and join Jeff and Aaron Kowal from Creative Planning as they dive into the latest retirement news, break down investment and planning strategies, and answer the questions you're already asking. The Retirement Clinic, every Saturday at 10 with Jeff and Aaron Kowal from Creative Planning. Clear and informative discussions about your retirement on News Talk 1130 WISN.
The only real estate agent I trust here in Milwaukee is Justin Hoffman with RE/MAX Lakeside. Now, thanks for joining me today. And what are some of the biggest challenges that you have had with sellers when it comes to determining the right price for their home?
Well, Sean, we deal with it every day. The biggest challenge sellers face is getting the price right. That's called emotional equity. You built memories, invested in your home. It's natural. You feel your home's worth more than the market. But buyers look at comps, condition, timing, not your feelings. Price it too high means your home sits longer, loses attention, and it will cost you thousands in the end. Work with our team. It's incredibly valuable. We balance your emotional attachment with our strategy, which attracts buyers, gets your home sold for the most money in the least amount of time.
All right. Thanks for keeping us up to date. Just go to wihomeeval.com. That's wihomeeval.com. Or just Google Team Hoffman and check out over 700 five-star reviews.
Of all the wireless companies in America, only one has 5 stars in every category from Consumer Reports, and that company is Pure Talk. Coverage, support, value, data. 5 stars across the board. Plus, no service contracts and no cancellation fees. Just phenomenal U.S. customer service on a crazy fast 5G network. Dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to a 5-star American wireless company that won't let you down. Pure Talk.
Can people see into your home or business after dark? Did you know most burglars gain entry by breaking glass? Window film specialists Privacy and Security Window Films help hold shattered glass together, making break-ins more difficult and providing added protection for your family, employees, and property. Plus, you'll enjoy reduced heat, less glare, improved privacy, and protection from harmful UV rays. Proudly serving Southeast Wisconsin. Call 888-950-0979 today for your free consultation.
David Brownsdorf, president of Flawless Flooring, recommending iNet for web development and SEO.
That's all?
And graphic design, photography, and video.
That's more like it, Dave. Flawless installed luxury vinyl at 3 properties I own, including iNet. The 8 separate projects were easy, turned out beautiful, exceptional value, and are extremely durable.
But wait, there's more. iNet's creative genius branding and radio gives Flawless a unique identity, making us stand out. Hiring iNet is casting a net that pulls in customers your business wants and needs.
Clever, Dave. You just might have a future in radio ad writing.
My future is secure in flooring, partially because we cast our iNet 5 years ago.
Having Flawless replace pet stain and stink saturated carpet is a smell and sight upgrade, making every day more beautiful and less gross. Flawless Flooring, LLC.com.
Having iNet replace underperforming web, radio, any marketing enhances business opportunity for profitable growth. iNet-web.com. CreativeGeniusMarketing.com.
Mental health care is a journey, and no one should have to navigate it alone. At Sagent Behavioral Health, we're here for every twist and turn to support your path towards growth. Formerly Nystrom and Associates, Sagent offers trusted therapy, psychiatry, and other mental health services for children, adolescents, and adults in the Milwaukee area. With in-person and telehealth options, our support moves with you wherever life leads. Sagent Behavioral Health. New name, same care. Learn more at sagentbh.com.
The World Cup is underway and it's been incredible. On our podcast, The Away End, with Daniel Alarcon and John Green, we're talking about the games that have delighted us, the teams that have inspired us, and what surprised us, all through the lens of being massive fans of the world's most beautiful game.
Daniel, I can hardly believe the drama that the group stage brought us, but now it's time to talk about the teams that are left as the tournament reaches its crescendo and decides the next World Cup champion.
Open your free iHeartRadio app, search The Away End with Daniel Alarcon and John Green, and listen now.
iHeartRadio FIFA World Cup Update.
Spain punches their ticket to the World Cup quarterfinals with a 1-0 win over Portugal. Mikel Merino playing the role of hero as he found the back of the net just as stoppage time began.
Lovely goal through, and there it is!
Spain has yet to allow a goal in the tournament. They'll take on the winner of tonight's match between the U.S. and Belgium in the next round.
Download the iHeartRadio app for live Fox coverage of every game.
Smart speakers get a whole lot smarter when they're playing News Talk 1130 WISN. Just ask Alexa or Siri to play WISN Radio and bask in the glow of insight and enlightenment.
back. It is the Dan O'Donnell Show, a tour de force of truth. Whether that truth is about World Cup red cards, the rise of socialism, or anything else, you will hear it from 3 to 6 p.m. each and every afternoon, and in written form each and every day at the Heartland Post. That is Wisconsin's premier source for conservative news and opinion, heartlandpost.com. Big political story today. Article in Politico in which a woman who used to date Graham Plattner, who is the great white socialist hope to take out Republican Susan Collins in May. Collins has been something of an anomaly for decades, a Republican in a very liberal northeastern state. She has done so by being a constant thorn in the side of conservatives who don't want her to be nearly as liberal as she is. Well, that's how she politically survives. She is also the beneficiary of running against horrible candidates like Plattner. Today, after months and months and months of Plattner facing unending controversy surrounding his Nazi Totenkopf skull tattoo that he has on his chest. He only recently covered it up, and he knew exactly what it was. The guy has a Nazi symbol tattooed on his chest. He had also faced significant pressure after a New York Times article accused him through multiple girlfriends of being abusive. Now, though, we have actual named allegations from a named source, a 41-year-old woman named Jenny Rachicot. I apologize. I have no idea how to pronounce that, who detailed the alleged incident to Politico in 3 interviews over the past 2 weeks. Politico also spoke with a man Rachicot dated and confided in the years after the alleged incident, and reviewed documents, including emails between her and her therapist and messages between her and an acquaintance whom she warned against getting involved with Plattner years before he ran for office. In other words, this is about as solid an allegation of assault as you get, because obviously there's no physical evidence anymore. It's he said, she said, unless there is contemporaneous reporting of it. The victim talked to somebody else. The victim wrote it down in a message to somebody else. According to Politico, Rachicot said she had an on and off relationship with Plattner for more than 2 years before he entered her rural Maine home uninvited one night in late 2021. So, folks, this is not when he was a very young man. This was less than 5 years ago. He was deeply intoxicated and forced himself on her while she repeatedly told him to stop. She said she cut off contact with him after telling him the encounter was not consensual. I remember him grabbing my pelvis and being really forceful with me, she said. I remember the specific moment when I thought to myself, like, this is no longer my choice. Folks, this is breaking and entering, and it is rape. Not only does Graham Plattner need to drop out of this race immediately, there should be a criminal investigation into this if the evidence supports it. But these allegations seem very credible. Now, today, Plattner released a video in which he said he's not going to drop out because these allegations are false.
I wanted to directly address the troubling, serious, and false allegations against me. Any accusation of non-consensual behavior is categorically false.
Okay. So he's staying in the race, right? Nope. He's canceled all events for this week, and he says in that video that he is going to reflect on the future of his campaign.
Regardless of the inaccuracy of the reporting, but mindful of the political reality it will inflict, we are taking the time to reflect on the best path forward for the state that I love, the people that I love, the movement I belong to, and the goal of defeating Susan Collins.
Let's think about this logically. If these allegations were false, he would fight them with everything he had. If he had evidence that he wasn't dating this woman, he was not even in Maine at the time the alleged incident happened, he'd provide that proof. He'd stay in the race. Regardless, taking time to reflect on the future of your campaign is as good as saying he's dropping out, because, folks, he's dropping out. The Democrat Party of Maine and the National Democrat Party and donors, the power brokers behind the scenes, they simply need time to try to find another candidate. There is still a week left in order to get Plattner off the ballot. Even though he is the nominee, the deadline is July 13th for him to drop out of the race and for him to petition to have his name removed from the ballot and for the Democrat Party to nominate somebody else, some generic Democrat, to run against Collins. That's going to happen. It is going to happen as soon as Democrats settle on that candidate. This is beyond disgusting behavior. And before you say, oh, well, Trump was accused of rape 34 times by people who are provably not credible, not the least of which is E. Jean Carroll, who I have debunked about 500 times over the past several years. And also, not everything ties back to Donald Trump, you single-minded, obsessed weirdos. What this does speak to, though, is the fact that there are a whole lot of awful people who are running for office and winning primaries. Now, they're not rapists, but they are the dregs of society who have found a home in the socialist movement, in the Democrat Socialists of America, and they are on the ascent in the Democrat Party. And if you think that someone like me is wary of their rise, you should see what Democrats think about the socialists like Graham Plattner and Wisconsin's Francesca Hong. We'll get into that next here on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Now, here's traffic from Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank. Call the Tri-City Total Traffic Tip Line at 414-944-5111.
Still got a full closure for crash cleanup in Waukesha, Highway 164 at County Highway I, southbound 43. Stopping and going from Good Hope down to Bender, and again from Capitol to the Marquette on to 4394, most of the way to the Plainfield Curve. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Harwood Place Retirement Living in Wauwatosa.
Located in the heart of Wauwatosa, Elaine's Hope at the Lutheran Home provides compassionate memory care in a safe, engaging environment with highly trained staff and personalized support. Call for a tour or visit thelutheranhome.org.
Verneri award-winning home renovating.
I'm Dr. Jennifer Grieve. My experience in the ER led me to establish Reset Restore MD, or R&R MD Ketamine Therapy Center. Sadly, right now, depression, anxiety, addiction, chronic pain, and PTSD are too common. Relief for people depressed, anxious, battling addiction, or living their life in pain is critically important. Traditional treatments can create potentially dangerous side effects, even suicidal feelings. While mental health issues can widely be misunderstood, they are real. People with treatment-resistant depression, anxiety, addiction, PTSD, or pain often have deficient levels of feel-good chemicals, including serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine, locking them in an endless cycle of sadness, pain, and anxiety. No matter what they do, symptoms remain. Ketamine helps retrain the brain out of this cycle, stimulating normal release of feel-good chemicals. A ketamine infusion takes about an hour at R&R MD. The reset or restore of feel-good chemicals can continue for weeks, months, even a lifetime. R&R for relief, Reset Restore MD, rnrmd.com.
Are you on track to achieve your retirement plans? Hi, I'm Jeff Kowal of Kowal Investment Group. We've recently joined Creative Planning, a national registered investment advisor. This move to Creative expands our ability to provide comprehensive wealth management, investment advisory, and retirement planning services. Now is the time to put your lifetime of hard work into action. For over 37 years, we've helped clients toward making their retirement dreams become a reality, and we'd like to help you too. And the best part, your plan will be completely tailored to you. Our in-house team of specialists will take the time to learn about you and your family, review your current situation, and find out what your goals are. Then we'll design a plan to help you get there. To get started, request your free meeting today with one of our fiduciary advisors by visiting creativeplanning.com. Whether you have met with us in the past or this will be your first meeting with us, we're excited to introduce Kowal Investment Group to you as Creative Planning. Visit creativeplanning.com today.
Dan Voss from Cut and Go here. Spring of 1917, just 14 years after the Wright brothers' first flight, America, determined to darken the skies over Europe with 12,000 combat aircraft, set about crafting 100 million board feet of Pacific Northwest Sitka spruce lumber.
Sonny Voss here. The rest is history. American ingenuity, determination, and might rescued humanity from tyranny. Dad harnessed American ingenuity, developing the remote control, truck-mounted articulated grapple saw Cut and Go uses to safely dominate landscapes.
Grind and Go is committed to your property being eyesore and trip hazard free. Cut and Go will take down dead trees for you to parse into firewood or chip for you to spread, or we can take with us.
Plants and Go designs historic treescapes, delivers and plants in time for you to celebrate your freedom this year.
Happy 250th anniversary. A Tons of Trees movement. CutandGoTrees.com. That's CUTNGO trees.com.
Welcome, everyone, to the Museum of Mechanical Failure. Over here, we have an air conditioner that was installed when the Macarena was still a hit.
Tracy, your AC is an antique that's costing you a fortune.
But look at the craftsmanship, Jason. It uses more energy than a small city and sounds like a freight train.
Capital can replace that with something modern that actually lowers your bills.
And right now, we're taking $1,000 off a new air conditioning system.
Leave the Macarena in the past. Call Capital today.
Call CapitalCares.com.
I'm defense attorney Tom Grieve. Charged with an OWI, it's not just a ticket. It's on your record permanently and can affect your career or your ability to travel. One mistake shouldn't ruin your life. Contact Grieve Law for your OWI defense. GrieveLaw.com.
In 21st century America, it's hard to know who or what to believe. The bureaucracy embraces its own agenda. The news media vilifies traditional American values. Social media is a sewer of disinformation. News Talk 1130 WISN is the counterpoint to all of it. We believe in intellectual honesty, and we believe that good and decent people are more than capable of processing that honesty and be better off for it. Believe us, because we believe in you. News Talk 1130 WISN.
Socialist Graham Plattner, the Democrat Senate nominee in Maine, has not dropped out after very credible sexual assault allegations surfaced in Politico against him today. A named woman says 5 years ago, Plattner broke into her home and forced himself on her while he was super drunk. The two are sort of dating on and off. She told multiple people about it. She has got emails talking about it from the time period. His political career is over, and all eyes now are on the Wisconsin Democratic primary. There has never before been a governor of any state in this country who has been a Democrat socialist, a member of the Democrat Socialists of America. There has never even been a governor who has called him or herself a socialist. They all avoid that word, or at least they used to until this summer. Folks, something changed during the New York primary when we saw New York fall to the socialists in every single primary. The New York Democrat Party is now a wholly owned subsidiary of the Democratic Socialists of America, and that was followed up the following week by Colorado primaries that saw a 15-term Democrat incumbent go down to a Democrat Socialist of America in that primary representing the city of Denver. Those are all high-profile wins. If, however, on August 11th, a little more than 1 month from today, Francesca Hong wins the Democrat primary for governor of Wisconsin, I'm telling you now, this will be the most watched gubernatorial election in the country and will very likely be the single most watched election period. No, it is not going to determine control of the Congress. No, it is not going to determine whether President Trump is impeached next year. It is, however, going to be a huge referendum on this ideology itself. If Hong somehow manages to win, and folks, she absolutely can win. This notion that Francesca Hong can't beat Tom Tiffany or beat any Republican is ludicrous. Democrats have a very favorable electoral environment. Now, she's undoubtedly got more skeletons in her closet than your average haunted house, but that doesn't mean that she's necessarily going to lose. She's got charisma. She doesn't appear to be anywhere near as dumb as Mandela Barnes is. And she has the backing of a shocking number of members of her party. What's going to happen also if she's the nominee, she is going to be held up as the poster child of the left-wing socialist movement. And Tom Tiffany and the Wisconsin Republican Party and this state is going to be... Do you want to know why they're calling Tom the dam man? He did work on a dam, yes. He would be the human dam standing between us and the flood of ruin that would come if we actually nominated the first socialist candidate and elected the first socialist governor of any state in America. And it's not just Francesca Hong. The two leading candidates, Barnes and Hong, are socialists. Sarah Rodriguez believes in socialism. She's just not dumb enough to say it. All right, when we come back, we are going to dive into Milwaukee's violent, chaotic 4th of July weekend. Stay tuned. Dan O'Donnell Show coming back after the news.
News Talk 1130 WISN are broadcast through the NX Wealth Management Studios. NX Wealth Management. Know the difference. Stay informed all day, every day on News Talk 1130 WISN. Milwaukee, an iHeartRadio station. Guaranteed human.
Over the weekend spread on social media of the moment fireworks injured a Milwaukee police officer.
It was one of two incidents over the holiday weekend where an officer was injured. The second officer was hurt after a car hit her, which led to an officer-involved shooting. Now, community activists are speaking out, saying it's a small minority of people who mess it up for everyone.
Fox 6's Derica Williams, Vice President J.D. Vance will be in Milwaukee on Wednesday. He's scheduled to visit the 128th Air Refueling Wing. It'll be the vice president's first trip to Wisconsin since he was in Plover back in February. And President Trump did confirm he spoke with FIFA's president ahead of a ruling that will allow a top U.S. soccer player to participate in tonight's matchup against Belgium.
Following a red card issued to American striker Flo Balogun last week, President Trump says he did ask FIFA President Gianni Infantino to review the decision.
I didn't tell him what to do. I can't tell him what to do, but and I don't believe he made the decision. I think it was a committee that made the decision, and they made the right decision because, number one, it wasn't a foul.
FIFA announced Sunday it was allowing Balogun to play despite a red card issued to the American player during last week's elimination game against Bosnia at the White House. Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Checking the Holiday Automotive of Fond du Lac Sports Scoreboard. It's the Brewers and Cardinals tonight in St. Louis. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Dave Michaels on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
This hour of the Dan O'Donnell Show is presented by Warshawski Law.
Insurers don't want to pay. We'll make them pay. Injured? It is about the money. Warshawski Law.
Here's the latest forecast, powered by WillysWorldCustoms.com from the Fox 6 weather experts.
Clear skies tonight, temperatures dropping into the 60s, mostly sunny and warmer on Tuesday, highs in the mid to upper 80s, 90 on Wednesday with a chance for thunderstorms Wednesday night. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Tom walks.
This report is sponsored by Staples. All right, it's officially the most wonderful time of the year at Staples. They've got back-to-school supplies as low as 25 cents, up to 40% off select tech, 20% off for teachers, and more. Check out all the deals at staples.com/back-to-school. Staples, that was easy.
Dave Spano, CEO of Annex Wealth Management, a fee-only fiduciary.
Fee-only fiduciary really further separates the folks that either say fiduciary some of the time or best interest altogether. And it's not just that alone. It is, of course, everything else that we can bring to the table that this just isn't asset management. It is estate planning, tax planning, financial planning, all of it wrapped together in one transparent fee.
Know the difference with Annex Wealth Management? Click the Get Started button at annexwealth.com.
Explore the shooting world at McMiller Sports Center, Wisconsin's largest outdoor public shooting range. Open Wednesday through Sunday from 9 to 4. There's something for everyone. Kids shoot free every Wednesday with a paid adult. Seniors 55 and older enjoy range access or sporting clays for just $15 on Thursdays. And every Friday, veterans and first responders shoot all day for only $15. Whether you're brand new to shooting or a lifelong sportsman, come experience everything McMiller Sports Center has to offer in Eagle, Wisconsin.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Born on America's darkest day, September 11th, 01, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation, they have been helping American heroes ever since. Heroes like U.S. Army Sergeant William Bernard McKenna, exposed to burn pits. McKenna later died from T-cell lymphoma, leaving his wife, Dina, and 2 daughters. Tunnel to Towers honored Sergeant McKenna. They paid off the family's mortgage in honor of all of his sacrifice. Donate $11 a month. If you have a car to donate, if you have land to donate, go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org today.
Get your rock solid guaranteed pre-approval to buy at accunet.com.
Kowal Investment Group, now Creative Planning, is a registered investment advisor. Now for your business report from Creative Planning. For informational purposes only, past performance is not indicative of future results.
Good afternoon. I'm Chartered Retirement Planning Counselor Joe Still with your closing business report. The major averages were higher today as pressure on the technology sector eased, with chip stocks shaking off a recent decline. Semiconductor companies Advanced Micro Devices and Teradyne were both higher after Goldman Sachs lifted its price target on their shares. And shares of IBM rose more than 3% following a price target increase from Bank of America. The firm bumped its price target to $330 from $315, noting that it anticipates IBM will post a solid quarter and raise guidance. On the day, the Dow was up 155 to 53,055. The S&P 500 rose 54, and the NASDAQ was higher by 288 points. From Creative Planning, I'm Joe Still.
Final hour, the Monday edition of the Dan O'Donnell Show. T-minus 2 hours until Team USA takes on Belgium in the World Cup's round of 32. They will have their leading scorer, Flo Balogun, or Folarin Balogun? I always, for whatever reason, I mispronounce his name. So his nickname is Flo. And yes, I love that he is, the left is, well, Dan, you know, he's a birthright citizen. He's only an American because his mother didn't realize how far along she was in the pregnancy, or there was an issue with getting back. I forget specifically what the story was. They were from Britain, and she was forced to give birth in America, and Balogun, as a result, is a birthright citizen. Again, people who say this, and this is the only reason he's on Team USA, Dan. See, you should love birthright. Do you idiots have any idea about how many players randomly switch their nationalities just to play for different national teams? If Balogun thought that he was going to make the English national team, decent chance he's playing for them. He is not only on Team USA because it's not like playing for Team USA in the World Cup is not like being president. You don't have to be a naturalized citizen. We can have immigrants to this country play for our national team. And in fact, this is a pretty good argument for orderly immigration, where the United States gets to pick and choose what immigrants who possess special, unique talents that would benefit the United States of America to bring into this country. Instead of just saying, hey, yeah, we're going to just kind of open the floodgates and allow everybody in. That's the way we should do this. 414-799-1130 on our Carpetland USA Flooring Center talk and text line. Email DOD@iHeartMedia.com. You know the social media. You know we're streaming live, podcast, iHeartRadio, and so forth. 4th of July, I hope for everyone, was safe, was fun, was spent with family and friends, fireworks. I do hope you stayed up and watched the Washington, D.C. display. I know it's not the same watching it on TV. I was actually texting back and forth with a number of people who were there, including, somebody from the White House communications office. We may, fingers crossed, we'll have a big guest on the Dan O'Donnell show in the next couple of days. No promises. But I actually asked her, not the big guest, but someone who can make this happen. I really hope you had a front row seat to those fireworks. She said, oh yeah, she and her husband absolutely did. I'm like, I am so jealous of you. But I did our traditional 4th of July stuff. Yes. For those wondering, do you realize I actually got a couple of emails asking me, hey, Dan, you normally post a picture of yourself in costume on the 4th of July. Did you do the costume thing on the 4th this year for America's 250? I said, absolutely, I did. I just can't post any pictures because my kids are way too embarrassed and worried that they'll get made fun of by their friends if they're seen with their dad dressed as George Washington. Yes, did do the costume thing, did have a lot of fun. Also, managed to avoid the riots in Milwaukee. City of Milwaukee is always a fun place to be on the 4th of July. Now, there are local fireworks displays. There is no giant Milwaukee County fireworks display, the 3rd of July fireworks, which was an incredible tradition for many, many years. You would get 100,000 plus people down to the lakefront on the 3rd. Summerfest would be going. It was just great. People would go right along Milwaukee's lakefront and watch a truly incredible fireworks display. They'd come from all over southeast Wisconsin, all over Wisconsin. And then for the 4th, they would go to their local suburb and see the 4th of July fireworks. This year, there were not fireworks. There was an admittedly very impressive drone show. And the 4th of July did feature across Milwaukee whole number of great events. There are fireworks displays, different neighborhoods had different 250th events. But of course, what we saw was an extreme example of what we have been seeing since summer started, Memorial Day weekend. Even before that, when the weather first got nice, we saw what are being dubbed in the media teen takeovers. Sounds almost like a post-prom event, right? A teen takeover of the local YMCA. We're going to do a lock-in at the Y. We'll have a hypnotist. You can play basketball. It's a good, wholesome activity. Teen takeover. It's not. We're going to be totally honest with you here and not sugarcoat it. It is inner city black teenagers intentionally going to places where there are a whole lot of white tourists, revelers, wherever. And the intent, in large measure, is to act crazy and to intimidate people and to just, as it used to be called, wild out. That is the point of them. That is the express motivation behind them. And they've been going on for quite some time. We saw last summer street takeovers, same basic philosophy. You go to a random street, oftentimes a long way away from inner city neighborhoods, downtown Milwaukee, very popular destination. And you have drag racing, you have donuts, you have spin outs, you have people just showing off their cars. They block the streets, a lot of alcohol, a lot of drugs, a lot of fights, shootings, all of it. Last night, there was a teen takeover of Water Street. There was a massive crowd of people in Milwaukee's popular downtown bar district. As you can imagine, Water Street, very popular destination, especially after people get out of Summerfest, go down to Water Street, keep the party going. It's the 4th of July, America's 250th. There were brawls, there were shootings, and one shooting brought a couple of beat cops that were patrolling the street on foot, running to the area where gunshots were fired. A suspect in a vehicle runs right into one of those cops. One source tells me it looked, apparently, like the suspect intentionally tried to run these officers over. One officer who was struck by the vehicle, the other officer was able to jump out of the way, was not seriously hurt, or at least she was okay enough to immediately draw her sidearm, open fire. So too did the other officers who were running to the scene and narrowly avoided getting hit themselves by this vehicle. The suspect took off. Other squads were in hot pursuit of him. He eventually gets out of the car, tries running. He's arrested. It's discovered that one of the officers, no idea which one, struck him. He was taken to the hospital for non-life-threatening injuries. He is in custody. He's under arrest. At about the same time this is going on, Milwaukee police held a big news conference at about 5 a.m. Sunday morning because, of course, it's an officer-involved shooting. And yes, this one does seem like it's completely justified. If you are in the middle of a chaotic mob scene and a car hits you and the suspect tries to drive, absolutely that is justified if he is driving into a position where he can hurt other people. That is the classic justified police shooting. Of course, there is an investigation going on. At about the exact time that this is going on, maybe separated by an hour, on Brady Street, which is another very popular bar district. And in fact, tonight, Brady Street is going to be absolutely nuts, the entire east side, because one of the very best soccer pubs in the world, the Nomad World Pub, is going to be hosting the Team USA match. A lot of people go down to the Nomad. Well, right across the street from the Nomad is a Walgreens parking lot. And this Walgreens parking lot, from the time I was going down to Brady Street every weekend to party 25 years ago, this has been a source of problems. Nothing Walgreens has done. It's just you always see fights in this parking lot. You'll have homeless. It's a lot goes wrong in that Walgreens parking lot. Nothing like Saturday night. People who were there not to go to the Nomad World Pub or any other bar for 4th of July were instead going there for another teen takeover. They started lighting off fireworks in the Walgreens parking lot. Another beat cop, another woman, Milwaukee police officer, runs to try to apprehend somebody. And this was captured on social media video. It's widely disseminated. You can see that video at Heartland Post, heartlandpost.com, on my social media. It was so many places. I had no idea who had the original video. It was everywhere within a matter of minutes. And I will warn you, the video is a little disturbing. As the officer is running to try to arrest this suspect, the guy who's filming sort of pans away for a split second to capture a firework that is being lit off. It appears in the direction of the officer, but I can't prove that. So as one very bright firework is being lit off, another firework from another spot nearby explodes. The camera quickly pans to the area of the explosion. You see the officer lying on her back. She had just been, I was concerned when I first saw it. I'm like, oh my goodness, this officer is dead. Fortunately, you can tell instantly she's moving. She was miraculously not hit by any debris from this firework. She was taken down by the concussive force of the explosion itself. She suffered a concussion. Very little is known about this incident. And in fact, it was not widely reported immediately, except by the Heartland Post. I believe Fox 6 had maybe it was Channel 12, one of the two, had a very, very brief report on this because it was not clear what exactly happened. I don't believe that the Milwaukee Police Department is super clear on what happened. What was clear, though, and I have heard from just dozens of people commenting on the social media posts that I made about the chaos on the 4th of July, that Brady Street was quite possibly even worse than Water, where you had shootings. That's how wild people were being. Fireworks, fights, the whole bit. Lest you thought that you could go downtown to Summerfest and enjoy a concert, say Jelly Roll, or who else was at the free stage? A Candlebox. There are a number of 90s acts. Jelly Roll was the main stage headliner. Gin Blossoms, that was it. My producer Armin was obsessed. You were first row for Gin Blossoms. You left your 1-year-old daughter at home so you could rock out with the Gin Blossoms on the 4th of July. Armin goes, she was there for Sister Hazel at 4:30. Very funny, wise guy. There were massive brawls at Summerfest. For a second straight year, huge brawls. Video of those start popping up all over social media. And a funny thing happened. We didn't have any sort of widespread condemnation by Milwaukee's mayor or county executive, who, by the way, is running for governor. Would there be a better way for David Crowley to show that he is not the most incompetent leader in the state, which he is certainly in contention for, based on the fact that he didn't even show any concern or any urgency when the county's health care plan expired earlier this year? We now have a reported massive budget deficit at the end of the current budget period. It's just been a disaster for Milwaukee County under David Crowley. No interest from him. Milwaukee's sheriff, Danita Ball, Milwaukee Police Chief Jeffrey Norman, saying anything about this. I get it's the 4th of July weekend, but this is kind of your job. Not only that, we have seen, not from leaders, but from a whole lot of liberals saying, well, this is just how 4th of July is in Milwaukee. You're trying to take isolated incidents, Dan, to stoke the flames of racial animus and to give a picture of a 4th of July that was not at all accurate in the city of Milwaukee. Folks, I have seen and heard from, I have seen way more videos than you know. I have talked to or heard from way more people who said, Dan, if anything, the videos you posted didn't do it justice as to how out of control things were. But this widespread sentiment that because we don't want to be honest about what's going on here, you have got a lot of teenagers and young adults who are all coming from one specific area of the city of Milwaukee. And unfortunately, all or many share the same racial background. And the fact that this is going on all across it, do you realize there were 400 arrests at Ventura Beach in California, Orange County, Colorado, a very wealthy suburb of Los Angeles, at the 4th of July event there, right on the beach, because you had a teen takeover event and you had brawls, you had violence, you had shootings report, all of it, illegal fireworks, everything. That was done specifically to go to a white neighborhood and make them uncomfortable during the 4th of July. In Milwaukee, there is less of an explicit, let's make white people uncomfortable motive, but that is always the undertone of all of this. This isn't happening on the north side, the predominantly black neighborhoods of Milwaukee. This is happening on Brady Street, and it's happening on Water Street. Now, everybody in Milwaukee, everybody in Wisconsin, everybody in the world goes to Summerfest. But the specific locations there, and yes, there is some element of people just going where the party is. There's parties going on all over the 4th of July. Why are these locations chosen? Because there's a belief that nothing is safe. It used to be under the bad old days of Tom Barrett, that downtown Milwaukee was the one area where police were actually allowed to do their jobs. And there was always a whole lot of resentment coming from the north and south sides, from people who actually care about the destruction of their neighborhoods, the destruction of the rule of law where they live. Let's not forget here, the overwhelming majority of people want to just live in peace. Why are we ruled by a mob of maybe 5 to 10% of the population of Milwaukee that just no longer believes that any sort of law or societal norm belongs to or applies to them? The people who wanted their neighborhoods to be safe would say, well, why does downtown Milwaukee, where all of the white people, the affluent, live in their high rises, why do they never deal with the same out of control crime that the neighborhoods do? That's unfair. That's inequitable. Instead of, surging the police, asking for state or even federal help, the city of Milwaukee, under Chevy Johnson, the mayor, under the county executive, Crowley, Sheriff Ball, Police Chief Norman, the decision appears to have been, we're just not going to enforce the law anywhere. Downtown Milwaukee, Lower East Side, Brady Street, 3rd Ward, those neighborhoods are now just going to be as lawless on weekend nights as the neighborhoods are. Equity, right? Equity. It was a holiday weekend. I get it. A lot of officers want to go to cookouts just like everybody else, want to watch fireworks just like everybody else. The fact, though, that it is not a priority when we know that these events have been happening on Water Street for weeks now. Now they're starting to expand to Brady Street, which is apparently just getting very dangerous on weekend nights. The fact that there is no plan for dealing with this is frankly unconscionable. We're going to step aside for a very quick break, take a couple of phone calls about this, and dive a little bit deeper into the chaos in Milwaukee on the 4th of July. Dan O'Donnell Show. We'll be right back in just a second.
The place you want to go, Lynch McGuanago Traffic Center.
Had a couple crashes on 94, both directions near the stadium interchange. Both are off to the shoulder, not causing a delay. But on Waukesha County, 94 eastbound at Highway F, you got an accident. That's taken out the 2 left lanes. I'm Kevin Henry, and that's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Grandview Homes. Your schedule is already full. Selling a house can feel overwhelming, but Grandview Homes makes it simple. They buy houses for cash as is, with no repairs or clean out. Take what you want and leave the rest behind. Get your no obligation offer at grandviewhomes.com.
Neglecting concrete or asphalt problems is like neglecting a cavity. It isn't going to fix itself, and the longer you leave it, the worse it is going to get. And the more it's going to cost to fix.
MudTech's here to save the day. 262-337-0934.
Eliminate unsightly, even dangerous concrete and asphalt problems while increasing your business's curb appeal. Safer, user-friendly concrete and asphalt costs less than you think. MudTech!
262-337-0934.
Better curb appeal brings more tenants, more customers, and happier neighbors.
MudTech! 262-337-0934.
Seal Coat makes old gray asphalt new again. Cracks and plow-bending potholes disappear. Trip hazards are quickly and inexpensively raised or replaced back to grade with MudTech. Having Wisconsin's premier pavement technicians repair the damage from washed-out concrete and asphalt will double the life of your pavement.
MudTech. 262-337-0934.
MudTech resolves every concrete or asphalt problem, leaving your pavement smooth, your life worry-free, and enough money in your bank to take the kind of trip you want to take. MudTechWorks.com.
Tracy, why are you wearing a snorkel in the living room?
Have you seen the dust floating in the sunbeam, Jason? It's like a tiny furry parade is marching through our lungs.
It's just dirty ducks. Capital can clean the air you breathe and improve your air conditioning system's efficiency.
And we're taking $200 off the price right now.
So you can take the snorkel off. You look ridiculous.
I look prepared. Call Capital and get your $200 off duct cleaning offer today.
Call CapitalCares.com.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules.
No matter what business you're in, as the #1 SBA lender in Wisconsin, Summit Credit Union helps your vision take shape with loan programs, great rates, and strategic solutions. Awarded #1 SBA lender by the Small Business Administration of Wisconsin in 2025.
Make News Talk 1130 WISN your #1 preset on our free iHeartRadio app, powered by Gruber Law.
One call, that's all.
Injured?
Remember, one call, that's all.
Welcome back. It is the Dan O'Donnell Show. I always say, folks, this is a tour de force of truth, no matter how uncomfortable. The truth is Milwaukee's entertainment district, Water Street, and an area of the city. Brady Street is a wonderful, wonderful area. Great restaurants, great bars, as I said. One of the best soccer bars that if you get a chance to go see a Team USA or any World Cup match at the Nomad World Pub on Brady, do it. They go all out. In fact, I was originally going to try to go down there for the game tonight, for the match tonight. If you're watching me on the Dano cam, you'll see I am wearing my Team USA kit. It's not a jersey. You have to call it a kit for some reason. A kit is actually the full uniform. You call the jersey, what we in America call the jersey, you call that a shirt, which I guess is really literally accurate. So I'm wearing my Team USA shirt. We were going to go down with a ton of people. I am talking dozens. I think we are meeting at least 30 people who are all part of our school and community's soccer, family, a bunch of my family and friends. We're all staying around where we live. We were 4th of July. Everybody's talking about, oh yeah, we're going to Nomad, man. Yeah. We'll see you at Nomad. Oh man. I'm actually thinking, how quick can I hustle downtown to try to find parking to meet everybody at the Nomad World Pub? As soon as Saturday night happened and nobody wanted to go. This is not, oh, look, the scared suburbanites. A cop got blown up with a firework across the street. There were violent brawls all over the street. People who live on Brady can't believe how much things have changed and how quickly. Let's go out to the phones. We start with Greg, not Greg, Ryan in downtown Milwaukee. Ryan, you are on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Hey, how you doing, Dan? It's Brian with a B, by the way.
Oh, Brian. I'm sorry, Brian. I'm looking at my call screen, and I see now that the B in your name is cut off. I do apologize, Brian.
Yes. Oh, that's okay. So I was a candidate, former Republican candidate for 3rd District Alderman a couple of years back, and I had a plan to bring in mutual aid from area agencies, like any of these agencies in the suburbs, offering a $500 per 8-hour shift, perhaps partner with the state to make it tax-free. And there were some people on the east side that were saying, those officers are going to come in and unfairly racially profile this, that, and the third. And, but it's like, okay, do you have a better plan? And, I'm sure there's a young officer in the suburbs trying to start a family, et cetera, trying to buy a house that, hey, I can make $500 in Brady Street on a Saturday night. I'm all for it.
Yep. I thought that was a great idea.
But in that election, ultimately, they wanted their defund the police. Democratic Socialists of America candidate, Alex Brower, he won, and he's nowhere to be found in all of this.
No. And Brower is the type of candidate who is now on the ascendancy, Brian, in cities like Milwaukee. Alex Brower will one day run for mayor, and heaven forbid he may win. If I'm Chevy Johnson, I'm super worried about an Alex Brower. I'm super worried about a Ryan Clancy. If I'm David Crowley, I'm super worried about Chris Larson just going full DSA. I mean, that guy's pretty much been spouting socialist nonsense since he got to the state Senate. These guys are going to be primaried. And as incompetent as Mayor Chevy and as incompetent as County Executive Crowley are, they don't believe in the radical, truly deranged nonsense that the Browers and the Clancys and the Francesca Hongs do. Francesca Hong isn't just saying abolish the police. She isn't just telling CNN and anybody who will listen that we should no longer have prisons. That we should just, all of the people who are locked up for murder, for rape, throw open the prison doors and let them all out. And instead of deploying police officers to break up these chaotic scenes, you send social workers? Social workers. How is a social worker supposed to break up a mob scene? Or is that the point they're not supposed to? Brian, I really wish you would have won, not just to stop Brower, but that is a great idea. Yep. Have mutual aid coming from suburbs that are so sleepy on a Saturday night that it would be very enticing for a 25-year-old cop who's working essentially Monday through Friday to make a great amount of overtime. Let's go to Greg in Greenfield. You're on the Dan O'Donnell Show. What's going on, Greg?
Hey, Dan. I got to say, it all starts with all the policies where you have photo op Chevy Johnson, who only cares about his own image, when it was a lot tougher before Chevy, before Charlie Tom took over, where you have to have more people be accountable. You have to have stricter rules, laws to actually curb some of these outrageous behaviors.
Well, there are. Well, hold on, Greg. There are already strict laws on the books. The issue is that everybody in the city knows they're not going to be enforced. Like, this is the canard. I know what you're saying, so please don't. And I just want to hop in. It's the policy of non-enforcement. It's sort of salutary neglect that downtown and the neighborhoods. I used to call it that all the time. They hated that. It was salutary neglect for the neighborhoods of Milwaukee. That was the policy that the American colonies were just allowed by the British Crown to do whatever the hell they wanted. did because they were making so much money. Well, it was salutary neglect by the city of Milwaukee because they had no earthly idea how to deal with the craziness of and the out of control crime of Milwaukee's neighborhoods. Well, now that's moved to downtown because there is not a soul who is taking part in these mob activities that believes that they are ever going to have a single law enforced against them. So I'm sorry, Greg, I interrupted you. So what did you want to say?
Oh, yes. And I also have to add, like, the whole entire COVID element of being locked down, where after that government-forced lockdown, it changed people's mindset, where now they have all this freedom that they just want to go bananas, where they just don't care for basic life. They feel like the self-gratification of doing whatever, and because you nailed it, that there's no tough consequences because of the lax law enforcement.
You know, I don't know. It certainly did accelerate post-COVID. I mean, remember, we actually had the very fun summer kickoff festival down on Milwaukee's riverfront, River Splash, canceled, 22 years ago, I believe, the last River Splash, the early 2000s, mid 2000s, somewhere there. Armin, Ultimate Millennial. Do you remember when they did the last River Splash? There was a shooting. There was a massive shooting at River Splash on its opening night the next year. No more River Splash. Might have been 07, 08, but it was the same thing, the exact same thing. I'll tell you what, we're going to keep this discussion going. I'm taking a look at the clock. It was 2009. Okay, so 17 years ago, River Splash died. A fun community event died because they refused to patrol. They refused to enact any meaningful consequences. Shooting somebody at a festival, there are very serious laws against that. Whether those laws are actually enforced or anybody reasonably believes that they will be enforced, that's another story. A lot of people on hold. We'll take more of your phone calls. Carpetland USA Flooring Center talk and text line 414-799-1130 when we come back.
From the Lynch Truck Center in Waterford, Total Traffic Center.
Two left lanes remain shut down with an accident 94 eastbound at County Highway F in Waukesha County. Heavy again after that from Mitchell Boulevard over to 35th. Southbound on 43 is slammed from Capitol down to the Marquette. I'm Kevin Henry, and that's your latest Total Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Grandview Homes. Your schedule is already full. Selling a house can feel overwhelming, but Grandview Homes makes it simple. They buy houses for cash as is, with no repairs or clean out. Take what you want and leave the rest behind. Get your no-obligation offer at grandviewhomes.com.
Here's why. I'm attorney Keith Trower Warshevsky. You don't ever want a multi-million-dollar injury. If you're seriously injured and represented by a sign and settle firm, insurance companies are in the driver's seat, and your multi-million-dollar injury may be reduced to a multi-thousand-dollar injury.
I'm Ken.
Ken, are you an actor or are you a football player?
No, real person permanently injured by a fraud-committing doctor who operated on the wrong side of my back, making pain and numbness far worse and permanent. I had to hire someone else because the first law firm I went to turned me away. That was a lucky day because I hired Warshevsky instead.
Warshevsky's elite investigators, trial attorneys, and legal experts will prepare your case to win at trial from day one.
Insurance companies value your claim based on the quality of your attorney. My $2.9 million settlement proves insurance companies respect and fear Warshevsky at trial.
Injured? It is about the money. Warshevsky.com. 414-276-4970.
Based in Lake Country, I'm Endurance Exteriors, Ryan Ketchum. Endurance Exteriors is the company you'd create to do your roof, siding, windows, or gutters if you could. Virtually every roofer hastily prepares and rushes through the project. Endurance remodels your home the way you would with meticulous quality control and attention to detail. Our smaller crews may take 3 days to re-roof or re-side your home because an expertly managed, chaos-free job site provides superior results over too many workers pushing to be done in one day. With Endurance Exteriors, every expert on your property is superiorly trained to install to better than warranty specifications, lifetime manufacturer warranty, GAF roofs, or siding and windows. Our employee professionals treat your property, family, and neighbors with unwavering respect. Endurance Exteriors charges on average 20% less than the slap it up and go roofer for just as you would if you could installation, care, quality material, and workmanship warranted for life, GAF roofs, or siding and windows. Exterior remodeling the way you would if you could. EnduranceExteriors.com. That's EnduranceExteriors.com. EnduranceExteriors.com.
Hi, it's Jay Weber. Let's talk about the roof on your home. A lot of you will need to replace your roof this summer, but be forewarned, there are roofing companies out there that skip over the most important part of the process, the attic ventilation. You see, if your attic doesn't have proper air circulation, it can cause problems such as mold and wood rot, leaks in the winter, not to mention higher AC bills in the summer. This is one of the reasons I recommend Semperfi Roofing to my listeners. Their process begins with a free 21-point roof inspection that includes a thorough inspection of your attic. They know that if the ventilation isn't right, the roof will be built on a shaky foundation. Every Semperfi roof comes with a well-thought-out attic ventilation plan, and that's why they can offer a 50-year leak-free guarantee on every roof they install. And right now, money-saving discounts and financing incentives are available. Call for your free 21-point roof inspection and estimate today, 262-600-2910, or book an appointment at SemperfiRoofing.com.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semperfi.
I'm attorney Tom Grieve, here to tell you about Grieve Civil Law. Life is unpredictable, and the consequences of not planning for the future can be devastating. Have you ever thought about what would happen if you ended up in the hospital without the ability to make your own medical decisions? Or what will happen to your family if you die without a will? Without a power of attorney, your family could face agonizing decisions without knowing what you wanted. You could undergo medical interventions you don't want, or worse, lie in limbo while medical staff tries to determine who should have the final say in what happens to you. When you're gone, your loved ones could end up in probate with legal battles, high court costs and fees, and family disputes over your assets. In probate, everyone can see your assets, from the government to your nosy neighbors. Plan today so you can have peace of mind tomorrow. Don't leave your family in chaos and confusion. Contact Grieve Civil Law today, because tomorrow is not guaranteed. Visit GrieveCivilLaw.com.
The game's more intense. The goals more meaningful.
This is what 2026 FIFA World Cup is all about.
iHeartRadio and Fox Sports are bringing you every match of FIFA World Cup 2026
live.
Seattle, we're coming back. Team USA is through to the round of 16.
Don't miss the game tonight at 8 Eastern. Download the free iHeartRadio app and search
World Cup.
The world is listening.
Are you?
iHeartRadio FIFA World Cup update.
Spain punches their ticket to the World Cup quarterfinals with a 1-0 win over Portugal. Mikel Merino playing the role of hero as he found the back of the net just as stoppage time began.
Lovely ball through! And there it is!
Spain has yet to allow a goal in the tournament. They'll take on the winner of tonight's match between the U.S. and Belgium in the next round.
Download the iHeartRadio app for live Fox coverage of every game. We report, you decide. Factual, fair, and balanced coverage. Your exclusive home of Fox News Radio. This is News Talk 1130 WISN. Go to newstalk1130.com for your summer of fun deal for the Heidel House in Green Lake. A 2-night room package plus a $200 food and beverage credit. That's an $800 value for just $400. Get your certificate now at newstalk1130.com.
Let's go right back to the phones and talk with Josh in New Berlin. You're on the Dan O'Donnell Show. What's going on, Josh?
I do miss River Splash, since you bring it up. That was probably my favorite festival.
Right? I went to River Splash every single year. You sound like you're the same age as me, Josh. I don't know how I can tell the age of people by voices, but consider it a gift. I'm going to go, you're 41 years old.
I got a lot more years than that.
Okay. I actually do suck at this. What's going on, Josh?
I'm a young soul or old soul, whatever.
It must be.
Summerfest, I went quite a few times, and it's wonderful, except it's always terrible the last night because there's a ticket dump.
Yep.
And all the riffraff, or whatever you want to call them, the thuggy little punks, they show up in force. So I was there. I could barely get – the line to get in was unbelievably long. It was filed into one, line. So easily thousands of people waiting to get in. And – there was I mean, just there's punks everywhere. They're not there for shows because it was the Bodines and Temper Trap, not usually big groups for urban use. And we're hanging out everywhere and in big packs.
I'm trying to see the urban youth with the lighters go, no, don't pass me over, singing to the Bodines. But that's it. And you got your ticket. You can be there. You have every right to be there. If it's a free ticket, if it's a paid ticket, doesn't matter. And the whole point of Summerfest is, Josh, you and I have gone and we've just walked around and we've, just taken in the atmosphere. When I was a high schooler, you used to meet by the Hawaiian shaved ice and everybody from school was there and maybe there was a band you wanted to see. Maybe you were just going there to socialize. The problem is there is inevitably massive chaos. There's fights. And it's not, and this is the thing that people need to get out of their head. When we say fights, it's not a couple people these are massive, out of control brawls. There was actually someone very close to me. This was not last night. This was Thursday night at Summerfest. So this would have been the 2nd. There was chaos leaving Summerfest, and there was a dude who was just on the street, and he was upset that a gentleman right near my friend did not say, "Excuse me," as he passed. Sucker punched him in the back of the head and then flashed his gun. Is that something that we should be subject to, leaving Summerfest and trying to go to the Freeway Flyers? Last year, we had video, it went nationwide, of just out of control. This isn't a couple people fighting. I've been in the middle of Summerfest fights that just kind of break out next to you. These are brawls involving 30 people. It's shocking how many people jump in. And they go on for minutes and minutes and minutes. They keep breaking out. Sometimes there is just widespread vandalism that goes on, people chucking stuff, emptying garbage cans, tossing things at each other. And the fact that we have just sort of accepted this, I guess last night of Summerfest, they're going to have the free tickets. I guess this is just what happens. Well, it's Water Street. I guess this is just what happens. Let's get rid of the food. The city of Milwaukee's response was to ban the food trucks from Water Street. You can't operate a food truck when you're going to make all of the money your food truck is going to make with the drunks coming out of the bar. Yes, a taco truck sounds really, really good coming out of the bar at 2 a.m. Can't do that, though, because people congregate around the taco trucks. They congregate around the food trucks. So Milwaukee gets rid of the food trucks. I would love to know, Bob Bauman, talking to you, brother, downtown Alderman. We've got the data that says people gravitate towards the food trucks, and the food trucks are where all of the problems. No food trucks on the 4th of July, Bob. What do we ban next? How about we ban criminality? How about we actually enforce the law? We enforce loitering restrictions. We enforce blocking a public thoroughfare right of way. How about we actively clear? You don't need to arrest people. You just need to say, hey, can't be standing here. Keep a move on. If you're going to a bar, go to your bar. Can't just hang out on the sidewalk. That sort of thing used to happen. New York was way worse than Milwaukee ever was. New York City, under Mayor Rudy Giuliani, turned it around by enforcing all of this stuff. Bill Bratton, police commissioner, broken windows theory of police. It was called the New York Miracle because of how quickly and how dramatically things turned around. I want to see the Milwaukee Miracle. I want some Democrat. Bauman, you want to regain my respect? You can keep the food trucks off of Water Street. Call for actual meaningful enforcement of the law. And beyond that, call for actual consequence. That's the district attorney's offices. That's the judges. The problem is we have got far left radical social justice socialists in these positions of power who believe it to be their mission to keep young criminals out of the criminal justice system because it's just like slavery, because police are modern day slave catchers. And prison is like a modern day slave plantation. This is, honest to goodness, the thought process behind this racial communist movement that is destroying fun things like River Splash and Water Street and Brady Street and Summerfest and cities like Milwaukee and again New York and Chicago and everywhere that is dumb enough to elect people who simply refuse to protect the overwhelming numbers of people, even in the worst, most poverty-stricken areas, high crime areas of their cities, just want peace, just want quiet, just want to live their lives. They are being victimized by the people who are committing the same chaos and causing the same violent incidents and injuring the police officers. They're victimizing the people who live in their neighborhoods. If you don't want to stand up for the supposedly racist white suburban conservatives by keeping their Summerfest and their 4th of July water streets safe, why don't you think about the poor inner city Black and Hispanic residents who are being constantly victimized at a much greater rate and in much higher numbers than anybody else? All right, we're going to have to wrap things up after that. I know a lot of people waiting on hold. Man, is this a frustrating issue because it just never ends. It's the constant sameness of all of this that is just so irritating.
From the Lynch Buick GMC of West Bend Total Traffic Center.
Eastbound 94 still heavy in Waukesha County as you approach Highway F. That's because of an earlier accident. Then at the Stadium interchange, you got an accident on the ramp from northbound Brewers Boulevard to eastbound 94. Stay on the left side of that ramp to get by. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest Total Traffic.
This report is sponsored by the Lynch Automotive family of dealerships.
For over 65 years, the Lynch family of dealerships has been more than just a car dealership. Starting in 1957, we've treated our customers like family from day one. Start your car buying journey today at shoplynch.com.
Question for you. Is summer half over since the 4th of July is now in our rearview mirror and Summerfest has shut down the Sky Gliders until 2027? The answer is no, it's not, which means possibly more obstacles, be it the ethnic or church festivals, backyard barbecues, or family get-togethers. It all can make it challenging for you if you wanted to lose weight. One option, a great one, is Milwaukee Weight Loss. They can help you like they helped me on my weight loss journey. I'm Dave Michaels. I lost around 15 pounds, and that's the amount of weight I wanted to lose when I reached out to their offices in Brookfield. If you're ready to lose 20, maybe even 30 pounds in about a month without lifelong medications. And for a limited time, Milwaukee Weight Loss is offering $200 off with their summer special. Schedule your free consultation, MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com, or give them a call. Again, free consultation, 262-433-4007, 262-433-4007. Results may vary.
Builds that are definitely not par for the course.
Downham Homes.
At Ross Dental, your journey to smiling like you just don't care because you don't isn't paved with anxiety, discomfort, or judgment. People should be judged by the content of their character, not the straightness, color, or condition of their smile. No matter how much restoration required, Ross Dental's gentle, caring staff won't judge you. Ross Dental does cutting-edge laser dentistry, maximizing patient comfort and health. Laser removal of tooth decay requires 0 shots. For almost everyone, it's painless. Procedures are faster. No numb mouth, 0 shots. Smile like you just don't care, because you don't. RossDentalNewBerlin.com. Lasers don't churn up infected tissue. They kill bacteria, fungus, even viruses, dramatically reducing infection-spreading bioaerosols old technology drills cause. Laser dentistry is ideal for cavity treatment, and less collateral tissue damage treating gum disease or canker sores speeds up recovery. Ross Dental's convenient payment options, low, even no radiation imagery, and sedation dentistry eliminate every reason to neglect your teeth. Schedule your cleaning or cosmetic assessment today, and soon you'll smile like you just don't care, because you don't. RossDentalNewBerlin.com.
I'm defense attorney Tom Grieve. Charged with an OWI, it's not just a ticket. It's on your record permanently and can affect your career or your ability to travel. One mistake shouldn't ruin your life. Contact Grieve Law for your OWI defense. GrieveLaw.com.
Okay, Jason, I've calculated the cost of my air conditioner breaking on the weekend, and I think that if I sell my vintage comic books and post pictures of my feet online, I still won't have enough money.
Or you could just call Capital.
But it's the weekend. Everybody charges a premium for just showing up.
Not Capital. We do same-day repairs 7 days a week. Plus, the service call is free when we do the work, even plumbing repairs.
So I can keep my comics?
Keep the comics. Call Capital.
Call CapitalCares.com.
Are you ready to transform your home into the home you've always wanted? Hi, Colleen with Tri-County Contracting. We have a mission. Our mission is to help you love your home again. One of the best ways to do that is new siding. Whether you want vinyl or LP SmartSide or Hardy plank siding, new siding can give you the look you want. With lots of options to choose from, we will be your guide as you pick out the perfect siding for your home. Horizontal lap siding, shake, board and batten, cedar accents, there's so much you can do to make your home truly amazing. With our home rendering tool, showrooms, and design consultant, no exterior contractor is going to help you like Tri-County Contracting. Go to TriCountyContractingWI.com and see all the tools you can use to upgrade your home, like our exclusive color selector page. Just click the colors you want and we can make it a reality. Free estimates, free design consultations, open showrooms with friendly staff, and a website built to help you create the home you have always wanted. TriCountyContractingWI.com. Siding that will make you love your home again. Tri-County Contracting.
Critical events drive critical times, and these are the times to learn critical lessons. Recent events should teach us that the struggle for liberty is ongoing, and forces that are misguided or sinister stand at the ready to take our liberties away. At News Talk 1130 WISN, we are dedicated to identifying the risks to our freedoms as they arise, and to alert you to those risks, valuing our liberties and our rights. This is News Talk 1130 WISN.
Just a couple of seconds left here on the Dan O'Donnell Show, this Monday edition. This is not new, folks. The teen takeovers, mob takeovers, street takeovers. Do you know Bradford Beach, great example of this. Huge problems with, they would just shut down Lincoln Memorial Drive and have a street takeover. This was like a decade ago. Do you know what former Sheriff David Clark did? Flooded Bradford Beach with deputies. Had a massive presence. The problem evaporated overnight. Now Bradford Beach is one of the nicest places in Milwaukee. It can be done. It was done by a conservative Republican who actually cares about law and order. Maybe we do have a solution to this. Just bring David Clark back. He at least knew what he was doing. Out of time here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Go Team USA. Hope you're all watching that match. Back tomorrow, 3:06 p.m.